Chapter 405, Chapter 405, Ing Long Ao Lai. Chapter 405, Ing Long Ao Lai. Moreover, even if he obtained the dragon's soul, he might not be able to become a dragon. Only by obtaining the true dragon chi and true dragon blood could one become a dragon. This dragon chi could at most increase his cultivation. Furthermore, he was Li Lingtian's subordinate. Naturally, he had to rush to the front and shoulder the risk when he was in danger. The two of them flashed, but with their powerful cultivation and various methods, they could not move fast. True dragon body protection. Heaven and Earth creation cauldron. Li Lingtian shouted loudly as he unleashed the true dragon barrier and the heaven and earth creation cauldron at the same time. Although he didn't know what the heaven and earth creation cauldron did, every time he used it, it would resist some mysterious pressure. Now that he had used it, it proved his experience. With the heaven and earth creation cauldron, all the pressure was directed at him. Tang Qingyue and the others could no longer withstand the pressure. Even Long De, who was beside him, felt a lot less pressure. The heaven and earth creation cauldron kept spinning, and a silver-white light flashed, constantly resisting the pressure of the dragon energy. Boom! Li Lingtian felt a dull thud in his head and his entire body began to spin. A destructive will came crashing down on him and directly bombarded his awareness. His body also disappeared, entering an independent world. His divine sense also entered a spiritual world. In the spiritual world, Li Lingtian's vision was a blur. The blurry world stretched as far as the eye could see and he did not know how big it was. The only person he could see was Long De. Li Lingtian's vision blurred when he saw Long Da's presence because Long Da's eyes were filled with fear and confusion. Since he had come to a certain spiritual world, why did Long De also appear in his spiritual world? This was what he did not understand and puzzled about. A surprised voice was heard. The voice was ethereal and uncertain, as if Li Lingtian was in the world of sound and the source of the voice was everywhere. Li Lingtian had no idea why the owner of the voice was so surprised. The only thing he wanted now was his own safety. Without ensuring his own safety, everything else was useless. Why are you surprised? Li Lingtian was no longer surprised by some things. After seeing so many things, he was naturally not surprised. The things that he encountered in this world were bizarre like no one else. Transmigration, reincarnation, rebirth, everything happened to him. Even in this spiritual world, he was very calm and composed. There was no emotion on his face. Instead, there was a smile on his face. This kind of smile made his opponent feel suffocated. Not bad, you're actually still so stable under such circumstances. Your strength is very weak, but your temperament is indeed not bad. The ethereal voice sounded faintly, and there was a hint of praise in it. It surprised him a lot. Nonsense, I'm only 20 years old. If all of them were true gods, wouldn't this world be heaven-defying? If you give me another 20 years, I'll try. There was a faint smile on Li Lingtian's face. It was not because he was arrogant and complacent, but because he was confident. Too much modesty was pride. He was only 20 years old and had already become a martial honor. Not to mention other places, such an existence could not be found in Green Continent or Azure Continent. If he was given another 20 years, he was absolutely confident that he would become a martial god, or even an existence that surpassed a martial god. I believe you have the ability. Aren't you worried when you came to my spiritual world? The ethereal voice sounded calmly. Li Lingtian had no idea where the voice came from, but he did not want to look for it. The voice was directed at him and Long De was ignored. Long De was shocked when he saw Li Lingtian's expression and his conversation with the mysterious being. This young man was too mysterious. His strength was terrifying, and his methods were shocking. Now, facing such a powerful existence, he was still so calm. Was this strength? And he was even arrogant. Even if he was arrogant, to be arrogant to this extent was also a realm. Even if those martial emperors and martial saints were arrogant outside, they would not have the courage to be arrogant when they met a true expert. Worried? Ha, ha ha ha. I've never been worried. Things that can be solved can always be solved. Things that can't be solved can never be solved. Since it can't be solved, what's the point of worrying? You're asking for trouble. If it can be solved, there's even less to worry about. Because that's unnecessary. Worrying is asking for trouble. I'm a carefree person and never worry about anything. As if he had just heard the funniest joke, Li Lingtian burst into laughter. He laughed without restraint, wildly, and in an admirable manner. He was filled with heaven-defying existences. He also wanted to know who could kill him. After 2 lifetimes, life and death were already a thing of the past. Furthermore, the divine martial continent was filled with danger. Everyone was licking blood on the edge of a knife. If one was afraid of something, they would be even more unlucky. This place should be the world of the dragon's soul, or the spiritual world of a dragon mighty figure. Since that was the case, he could give it a try. A free man, a carefree man. Can he really be carefree? Are you afraid of death? Ethereal's voice trembled as if he was touched by Li Lingtian's words. When he spoke, he was no longer as domineering as before. Instead, he was asking questions, probing questions, and asking for the truth. Afraid of death? Sir, although I may not be as strong as you. However, I really look down on you in many aspects. You're an almighty existence that has lived for countless years. Compared to me, you've lived countless times longer. You have more experience than me, so your comprehension is naturally better. However, you are not as good as me in this aspect. I'm afraid of death. Everyone is afraid of death. But sometimes, it's not something that we can choose. Moreover, sometimes, death is a form of relief. Dying meaningfully is often better than living. Li Lingtian was spouting nonsense. These were the sacred words of Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism in the past, and they were also his insights in this life. Naturally, he could say it easily. These were all a person's life experience and state of mind. I underestimated you. Indeed, a meaningful death is often better than living. Sometimes, death is indeed a release. Your background is not simple, but I can't see through it. Tell me your background and I'll make a deal with you. The ethereal voice was no longer ethereal. Instead, it appeared before Li Lingtian as if it was real. Moreover, its tone had become calm. Sir, this doesn't seem fair. Since we want to make a deal, we should understand each other. Or rather, if you want to make a deal with me, if I'm not willing to make a deal, 1 foot 11 inches tell you my background. It's not a loss. In this world, the strong are respected. There is no truly fair deal, but this young master is used to fairness. At this time, don't be selfish. Li Lingtian placed his hands behind his back. He was extremely calm as if he was talking to an ordinary person. Longda, who was standing at the side, was already numb to the situation. If he were to encounter such a situation, he would have long lost his mind. You are getting more and more interesting. From the dragon chi on your body, I believe that you have a deep relationship with my dragon clan. I'm the guardian of the dragon race, Inglong Ao Lai. An ethereal voice sounded. There was pride in the voice, but after the pride, there was indeed a sense of disappointment. However, the voice shocked Li Lingtian. He did not expect the owner of the voice to be a mighty figure of the dragon tribe, and a Inglong at that. He cultivated the true dragon body barrier, so he naturally knew some secrets of the dragon clan. This Inglong Ao Lai was definitely the strongest existence among the Ing dragons. Even if the heavenly dragons saw him, they might not be his match, because he was also the guardian of the dragon clan. However, when the dragon clan disappeared, he also disappeared. So it's Lord Ao Lai of the dragon race's 4 great rain dragons. Li Lingtian's face was filled with surprise. It was a natural surprise, but if he pretended to be calm, it would be an act. After saying that, he unleashed all the true dragon chi in his body and activated the true dragon body barrier. He extended his right hand and gently shook it. The Dragon Cry battle halberd also appeared in his hand. True Dragon Chi. Dragon Roar battle halberd. Divine Dragon Ring. Who are you exactly? How can a human like you possess all the treasures of the Dragon Clan? When Ao Lai saw all of this, he was also shocked. He was the guardian of the Dragon Clan, so he naturally knew what all of this represented. It represented the existence of the Dragon Clan leader. If it had appeared on a true dragon, he would have accepted it. However, it had appeared on a human. He could not accept it even if he was beaten to death. Anything can happen in this world. I'm the reincarnation of the Saint Lord of Nine Yang. I entered Hidden Dragon Island and obtained all of this. I also saw the Golden Dragon Phantom. As for everything else, you don't need to know. I believe you've seen the girl outside who looks exactly like me. She's a four-colored dragon now. This is enough. I believe you don't need to know anything else. Just this is enough. Li Lingtian replied calmly. The Golden Dragon was the ultimate existence of the Dragon Tribe. Even though his cultivation base was not high, he controlled everything in the Dragon Tribe. The Golden Dragon Phantom believed him by giving him these. I understand. Can you let me in to take a look? Yinglong and Ao Lai listened to Li Lingtian's tone. He was no fool. Naturally, the reason for all this was that even the Golden Dragon trusted this human, so it was only natural that he valued this human greatly. His voice was filled with anticipation. He could instantly wipe out the humans in front of him, but he wanted to see his own race. It was a faith, a spiritual sustenance, and a way to prove that Li Lingtian was not lying to him. You can go in. Li Lingtian did not refuse. He activated the Divine Dragon Ring with his divine consciousness. He could clearly sense a thought entering the Divine Dragon Ring. Li Lingtian was relieved that Ao Lai had entered the ring so easily because he trusted him. Otherwise, he could easily erase the thought in the Divine Dragon Ring with his control. P.S. It has been 2.5 months since the book was published, and the word count has exceeded 1 million. Chapter 406, Chapter 406, Third Level Supreme Realm. Chapter 406, Third Level Supreme Realm. Soon, that thought appeared again. There was no sound in the air and Li Lingtian could feel a sense of sorrow in this spiritual world. Li Lingtian knew that Ao Lai, the Yinglong, was grieving like he had lost a loved one when he saw the Dragon Tribe's current situation. Countless years have passed. I can finally be freed. After a long time, Yinglong Ao Lai's voice rang out. His voice was no longer as relaxed as before. Instead, it became very calm, so calm that it made people feel afraid. What do you plan to do? Li Lingtian asked calmly. He wanted to know what Yinglong's plans were. After so many years, Yinglong probably no longer existed. This spiritual world was only a wisp of Yinglong's will. As the guardian of the Dragon Clan, I can find an excuse to say that I can't resist the heaven-defying destruction. However, no matter what excuse I use, it won't change anything. I'll fulfill your wish. I hope that you won't disappoint me one day. Although you've cultivated the Dragon Clan's canon, you're still a human. If you can bear my dragon soul, it'll be your fortune, and also the fortune of the Dragon Clan. As for you, I don't have a choice. You can accept as much as you want. If you want to become a dragon, look for him. Ao Lai seemed to have made up his mind as he spoke slowly. In the end, his tone turned to Longda, who instantly became excited. If he wanted to become a dragon, he would be satisfied even if it was the smallest dragon. Now that he saw the guardian of the dragon race, Ao Lai, how could he not be excited? Moreover, he was not a fool. He naturally understood that he had to increase his cultivation. All right, I won't let you down. Li Lingtian said indifferently. His tone was emotionless but his eyes were serious. He would keep his word. As soon as he finished speaking, he felt a destructive will bombard his sea of consciousness. Ah! A miserable scream echoed from beside him. However, Li Lingtian was no longer aware of what was happening outside as his awareness was constantly being attacked by a will. He was certain that this will was the dragon's soul. Even if Ing Long Ao Lai did not want to eliminate him, the dragon's soul was too powerful. He was only a martial honored realm warrior with only 3 layers of true dragon body protection. How could he withstand the dragon's soul so easily? The dragon's soul was powerful in its destruction. However, despite its powerful will, it was missing something. Li Lingtian knew very well that this was the killing intent. He did not intend to eliminate Li Lingtian but to fulfill his wish. Under such circumstances, if he still could not bear the dragon's soul, it would be too embarrassing and he would be letting down Ing Long and Ao Lai. He was originally a human, but now he had to accept the tempering of the dragon's soul. The tempering of the dragon's soul was not the tempering of the dragon energy. This was completely turning humans into true dragons. How heaven-defying was it to change the race? Although he was still a human after becoming a true dragon, he was still a human. The dragons only treated him as a demon cultivator. The dragon's soul strengthened his divine sense, and his body was also continuously condensed. Ing Long Ao Lai's dragon chi was also continuously emitted, and Longda was also enduring Ing Long Ao Lai's true dragon chi. The current dragon energy tempering was completely different from the dragon energy in the 3,000 worlds. This was because Ing Long had been enlightened and dispersed his cultivation base to benefit Li Lingtian and Longda. Ing Long had long been a soul. It was just that some of the dragon chi had not completely dissipated. Otherwise, forget about enduring the dragon chi, even if he came here again, he would be directly destroyed by the dragon chi. Ah, 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 ah. Screams of agony rang out from Li Lingtian and Longda, but they did not roll around like ruffians. Instead, they focused their energy and refined the destructive dragon energy. Li Lingtian could not be bothered to refine the dragon energy. He could only focus on his spirit and slowly merge with the dragon soul. After an unknown period of time, Li Lingtian's awareness and body had already gone numb. He could not feel his body falling to the ground. Bang! After arriving at Tang Qingyue's side, he did not say anything. Instead, he meditated and cultivated. Although he had withstood the dragon's soul and broken through the true dragon body barrier, his realm was still unstable. More importantly, his cultivation realm had also loosened. 3rd level Supreme Realm, Breakthrough. Half a day passed and Li Lingtian's aura surged. This aura lasted for half an hour as Li Lingtian circulated the heaven and earth reincarnation to circulate the terrifyingly powerful true essence. With a light shout, a faint confident smile appeared on his face. He had already broken through to the 2nd level of the Supreme Realm and reached the 3rd level of the Supreme Realm. When he broke through, Long Zhao had stopped moving and was cultivating at the side. He was now a true dragon, a true dragon. Obtaining a portion of the Yinglong's dragon energy cultivation had already reached his limit. In the end, he obtained the true dragon's blood, causing him to mutate and become a true dragon. Now, it was already a 7th level 5th level transformed demonic beast. Calling it a demonic beast now was a little insulting because it was already a dragon, which was a 7th level 5th level dragon. Although his cultivation was powerful, his level was only that of a small wyvern. Congratulations, Ling Tian. Congratulations, big brother. When the 2 ladies saw that Li Lingtian had opened his eyes and his realm had gradually stabilized, they congratulated him happily. Li Lingtian's true dragon body barrier had reached the giant dragon power and his cultivation had reached the 3rd heaven martial honored realm. All sorts of abilities had soared. Thank you, young master and princess, for your help. At this moment, Longda had also finished his cultivation. He came before Li Lingtian and bowed respectfully to Li Lingtian and then to Little White. He knew that Little White was the supreme princess of the dragon clan but she was still under Li Lingtian's command. Furthermore, Li Lingtian was also a member of the dragon clan. More importantly, the dragon clan depended on him. In other words, the true master of the dragon clan was Li Lingtian. He was extremely grateful that Li Lingtian and Little White had granted his wish without hesitation. Furthermore, he was a member of the dragon clan after becoming a true dragon. Naturally, he was bound by the dragon clan's rules. This is your fortune. You're now a level 5 rank 7 martial emperor, which is equivalent to a level 5 martial emperor. However, with your cultivation and true dragon chi, even a level 6 martial emperor won't be able to defeat you. However, you're still a flying dragon. I'll lend this to you temporarily. If you become a flying dragon one day and perform well, I'll give it to you. Li Lingtian summoned the roaring dragon combat halberd with his divine consciousness. As he spoke, he erased the divine consciousness on the weapon. This divine consciousness belonged to him and he had refined it. Although the roaring dragon combat halberd was a supreme treasure of the dragon clan, he had many treasures now. If Longda obtained this roaring dragon combat halberd, his strength would soar by a level. Longda was his subordinate. When Longda used the Dragon Cry battle halberd, it was like he was using the Dragon Cry battle halberd. It was equivalent to him using several top-notch treasures at the same time. Chapter 407, Chapter 407, Longda's Loyalty, 1. Chapter 407, Longda's Loyalty, 1. Naturally, he would not treat his subordinates unfairly. Giving the treasure to Longda was also a disguised investment, and it was also a disguised way to increase his strength. After everything was done, Li Lingtian handed the roaring dragon combat halberd to Longda with a serious look in his eyes. I swear my loyalty to the young master and the princess. If I'm disloyal, I'll be struck by lightning and my cultivation will never improve. I'll be stuck in the cycle of reincarnation forever. Longda knelt down. His eyes were red. He was extremely excited, but he was even more serious. He never expected Li Lingtian to turn him into a true dragon so quickly and even give him the dragon tribe's ultimate treasure. It was the dragon clan's most precious treasure, the dragon roaring halberd. If he had this treasure, his strength would increase by a huge margin. More importantly, this dragon roaring halberd represented the dragon clan's god of war. Remember what you said. I can grant your wish, and I can also destroy you in an instant. As long as you don't do anything that harms the dragon clan or disobeys me, I can let you go. Remember, you are now a member of the true dragon clan, so you should be proud of it. The responsibility is always more than the glory. Li Lingtian's entire body was emitting dragon's might. Just because he had given him the roaring dragon combat halberd did not mean that he would allow him to do evil. The combination of kindness and might was a common and most effective method for any intelligent race. This subordinate understands. Longda did not say anything else and nodded seriously. Following that, Li Lingtian and the others did not leave the palace. Instead, they cultivated there. Although his cultivation had reached the third heaven, revered martial artist and his true dragon body barrier had reached level 4 dragon power, he had to stabilize his realm. He had to adapt to the powerful strength brought about by the breakthrough and also control the true essence and dragon energy in his body. He was also a member of the true dragon clan now, and his physique was extremely strong. With his cultivation at the third level of the supreme realm, coupled with the true dragon body barrier, and the limitless feather coat, he could even withstand a full-force attack from a 9th level supreme realm expert. With such a powerful physique and all sorts of defenses, even a full-powered strike from a Saint tool would be able to withstand it without being injured. If other experts were to find out about this physique, they would definitely vomit blood. Li Lingtian spent most of his time cultivating the true dragon body barrier to stabilize his giant dragon power, which allowed him to unleash 4 giant dragons. The power of the giant dragons was extremely terrifying. The 4 giant dragons could directly destroy any martial artist below the martial supreme realm. No martial supreme realm expert could withstand the strangulation of the 4 giant dragons. He spent a portion of his time using the heaven and earth reincarnation technique to stabilize the 3rd level martial honored realm and the martial soul of the 5 elements perfection as the foundation. This way, his realm would stabilize very quickly. 10 days later, Li Lingtian left the palace and returned the way he came. After returning to the outside world, he found a place suitable for cultivation to stay. As usual, Guardian Long and Li Lingtian were cultivating in the cave. Li Lingtian had to constantly evolve his various skills to achieve a breakthrough in his realm. This way, he could unleash his full potential. True essence cultivation was only his capital, while his skills were the true means to destroy his enemies. Skills were a medium to unleash the greatest power of true essence. With the cultivation of a third-level revered martial artist, the power of skills was naturally much stronger. Ling Tian, what did you and Longda encounter that day? At night, when Li Lingtian was done cultivating and sleeping, Tang Qingyue snuggled up to him with a shy expression on her face. Even though the two of them did not advance further, they were still a virgin and a conservative girl. By sleeping with Li Lingtian, she had already considered herself as Li Lingtian's woman. Even so, she had mustered up her courage. Otherwise, she would not be able to stand next to Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian rested his arm under Tang Qingyue's neck and placed his palm on her back. The smooth and delicate skin made his heart flutter. The feeling was wonderful to the extreme. Naturally, he knew what Tang Qingyue meant. She had followed him in this time as if she was alone with Li Lingtian. She could not muster the courage to do so when she was outside with her sisters. Longda and I entered Yinglong Ao Lai's spiritual world. Yinglong gave me his dragon soul and fulfilled my wish. Li Lingtian recounted everything that happened in Ao Lai's spiritual world. The two ladies were extremely excited. Although it looked simple, the danger involved was simply unimaginable. I didn't expect Yinglong to be in this place. I wonder what kind of destruction happened to the dragon race in the past. Little White's face revealed a trace of desolation. She was the dragon princess of the dragon clan, the only princess, and the supreme princess. However, the dragon clan had become like this, and she felt extremely uncomfortable. Don't worry. As long as I become a divine dragon, I'll be able to reverse all of this. Li Lingtian consoled Little White softly. Although he sounded relaxed, it was extremely difficult and insignificant to reach the divine dragon level. He was very lucky to have reached the level of a giant dragon by chance. If he wanted to reach the level of a holy dragon, he would definitely surpass the existence of the martial god. Brother, you guys can be intimate. I'm going back to the dragon energy of the 3,000 worlds to cultivate for a while. Little White forced a smile and looked at Tang Qingyue. Alright then. Cultivate for a period of time. When you think of something, just call me. Li Lingtian nodded and activated the divine dragon ring with his divine consciousness. Little White's figure disappeared, and when it reappeared, it was already inside the divine dragon ring. If it was anyone else, he would not be at ease. However, Little White was a dragon, so it could cultivate in the divine dragon ring. Even the demons could cultivate in the divine dragon ring. Although humans could cultivate inside, the time they could cultivate was limited. If they exceeded a certain time, something would happen inside. After Xiaobai left, Tang Qingyue leaned her head on Li Lingtian's body and enjoyed the warmth. Ling Tian, is there anything else we need to do in the Lost Forest? Tang Qingyue said gently. Although they didn't go any further, they both understood each other's intentions and didn't feel awkward at all. My cultivation has broken through now, and my strength has also improved. However, I haven't adapted to my various skills yet. During this period of time, I can train in the Lost Forest. Besides, we have to eliminate the experts of the House of Storms one by one. At least, we won't let them threaten the Queen's palace. Li Lingtian's palm moved across Tang Qingyue's back as he softly voiced his plan. Ling Tian, I want to be your wife. When the time comes, I'll marry you together with Meng Meng. Tang Qingyue mustered up her courage and said it. To her, this was a confession. She did not know how to explain it to Li Lingtian, so she could only use this expression to prove herself. Aren't you worried about Meng Meng? You don't regret it. Li Lingtian looked at Tang Qingyue. Even though he was on the verge of bursting with blood, he had to remind her that there was no reason for him not to like such a peerless beauty. No, we said that we would marry you together, but in the end, I came to the Azure continent. After Tang Qingyue finished speaking, she kissed him on the lips. She used this action to prove that she did not regret it and liked him. Chapter 408, Chapter 408, Roasted Rabbit, 1. Chapter 408, Roasted Rabbit, 1. Li Lingtian had a faint smile on his face as he looked at Tang Qingyue, who was sleeping soundly. He thought back to when he was in Green Island. He rarely saw Tang Qingyue when he played with Tang Zimen. In the end, he met her a few times in Sky Cloud's sect, and was even frightened by Tang Qingyue. At that time, he was too weak. Facing the powerful Dishi family, he was completely afraid, so he dared not provoke Tang Qingyue. Who would have thought that in Sky Dragon Empire, the relationship between the two of them would be further pulled, and in the end, they would even give him the Yin blood. As a result, Li Lingtian was at a loss. However, after Tang Qingyue was brought to the Tsan continent, he made up his mind to rescue her. Now that Tang Qingyue was by his side, and the two of them had reached this stage, he was extremely satisfied. With such a peerless ice beauty in love, what else could he not be satisfied with? Unknowingly, Tang Qingyue woke up as well. It was already very early, but she was really tired after the two of them had sex just now, so she fell asleep. However, she woke up very quickly. When she saw Li Lingtian looking at her, she felt embarrassed. However, she let go of him immediately because she had already transformed from a girl into a woman and became Li Lingtian's woman. Since she had already done such a thing, there was nothing to be shy about. She might be an icy beauty on the outside, but when she fell in love with someone, she would put all her gentleness on the person she loved. "You're tired. Go to sleep first," Li Lingtian said gently as he gently caressed Tang Qingyue's smooth face. This action only existed between lovers. "I know you were worried about me just now. Tomorrow, Blue Moon will serve you well." Tang Qingyue buried her face in Li Lingtian's chest as she spoke softly. Even though she was a virgin, she was not a fool. She could sense that Li Lingtian was being careful when they were being intimate. Naturally, she understood that Li Lingtian was concerned about her first time, which was why he allowed her to rest first. Li Lingtian's heart skipped a beat. It was definitely the most tempting thing for a peerless ice beauty to say such words. Her heart was burning, but she could only hold it in. It was Tang Qingyue's first time, so she couldn't do anything reckless. Although she was very excited during the pleasure, it would definitely be bad for her health later. Soon, both of them fell asleep again. The night passed without a word. The next day, Li Lingtian cultivated as usual. Tang Qingyue cultivated as usual, but her gaze toward Li Lingtian had become gentler. It was normal for the two of them to be intimate. Although she was still a little shy, she was much better than before. Li Lingtian had cultivated to a certain extent. Seeing the rich spirit qi here, he began to refine elixirs. Such dense spiritual energy was just enough to refine a 5th or 6th grade medicinal pill. He spent a month refining pills. He spent the entire month refining Tier 5 and Tier 6 pills, but he did not attempt to refine a Tier 7 great rejuvenating pill. This was because he had not prepared such a pill yet. Moreover, he still had a few medicinal herbs that he had not gathered. When he had gathered all the medicinal herbs, he would also try it. During the month, Li Lingtian refined elixirs and cultivated his skills during the day. At night, he studied alchemy and cultivation techniques while cultivating heaven and earth reincarnation and true dragon's body barrier. However, this was only during cultivation time. When it was time to sleep, he would have sex with Tang Qingyue. Tang Qingyue had just tasted the forbidden fruit, so she was naturally not tired of it. In the first 2 days, she still could not let go, but in the end, she did. She had also learned how a woman should serve a man. Unlike before, Li Lingtian was no longer the only one serving her. Now, the intimacy between the two of them had reached an unprecedented peak. She finally understood why a man could make a woman so comfortable, and also understood that some girls like to follow men like this. As time passed, Li Lingtian's cultivation base had completely stabilized and his abilities had improved across the board. Just you wait. Li Lingtian found a sturdy branch and skewered the 4 rabbits that he had cleaned up together. He then placed them over the fire and roasted them. He also threw a strange plant into the fire. The sound of flowers and grass wafted over the roasted rabbit. 20 minutes later, waves of fragrance wafted out. Long Dadu kept grunting as his eyes stared intently at the rabbit that had been roasted to a golden yellow on the flames. In the end, Li Lingtian sprinkled some salt on the rabbit and a creaking oil fragrance wafted out. Gradually, the flames were extinguished, and 4 golden roasted rabbits were ready. Li Lingtian removed the 2 roasted rabbits and handed them to Long De, who looked excited. After all, they were of different statuses. He did not expect Li Lingtian to not treat him as a servant at all. "This is for you. Try out my ability." Li Lingtian tore off a rabbit leg and wrapped it in a leaf so that Tang Qingyue would not be scalded. It smells so good. Lingtian, how did you manage to roast such fragrant rabbit meat?" Tang Qingyue had long been attracted by the fragrance. She eagerly accepted the rabbit meat Li Lingtian handed her. She felt a surge of happiness when she saw how careful Li Lingtian was. This was because Li Lingtian had always protected her. No matter what the situation was, he would always think for her. She had never felt such care and consideration before. At this moment, she didn't care about anything else. She put a piece of rabbit meat into her mouth and immediately became excited. Li Lingtian was elated to see Tang Qingyue's blissful expression. After that, Tang Qingyue took the rest of the rabbit legs and ate 2 pieces of rabbit meat. Long Dalian had finished the bones of the 2 rabbits. In fact, Li Lingtian's control over the flames had already made the bones crispy. The 4 rabbits were dealt with just like that. Tang Qingyue walked to the other side of the pool to wash up, her face full of satisfaction. "I didn't expect young master to have such ability." Long De could not help but exclaim in excitement. He was unable to discern Li Lingtian's true strength, but he did not expect the young master with such terrifying strength to be so formidable in this aspect. "I have many abilities." Li Lingtian smiled as he washed up by the pool. He was definitely an expert when it came to handling underlings. Outside his bottom line, he could relax and get along with the people below him, but when he did things, he would be meticulous. As long as he didn't cross his bottom line, it would be fine. If he crossed his bottom line, it would be death. Chapter 409, Returning to the War God. Chapter 409, Returning to the War God. Following that, Li Lingtian brought Tang Qingyue back the way they came. There were countless demonic beasts in the Lost Forest. Although he did not encounter any 8th-rank demonic beasts, there were definitely 8th-rank demonic beasts. He had already obtained the dragon soul, so there was naturally no need for him to stay here. Moreover, the benefits of the dragon soul he obtained this time were that he had broken through to the 3rd level of the Supreme Realm and the true dragon body protection had reached the 4th level. It had also allowed him to achieve the true dragon body. However, the true benefit was that his physique had become terrifyingly powerful. Moreover, the dragon soul of Yinglong Ao Lai had not been completely digested. When he attacked the power of Yinglong, there would be endless benefits. Similarly, although he had the dragon power now, there was a trace of the Yinglong power in the dragon power. The true dragon body protection was also stronger than usual. Others thought that obtaining a dragon soul could allow one to reach the cultivation of an 8th-rank demonic beast, but they had all underestimated the power of a dragon soul. It was far from being as simple as an 8th-rank demonic beast. After a month, the 2 of them flew at a moderate speed and finally arrived in front of the restriction of the Lost Forest. When they returned, there were still countless experts entering. There were even disciples of martial kings. Since the Lost Forest was open, it would naturally not close. All the experts could also search for treasures, find medicinal herbs, and hunt demonic beasts inside. Whoosh! Li Lingtian held Tang Qingyue's little hand as his body flashed and entered the ripples on the stone wall. With a slight sound, the 2 of them appeared on the other side, which was Dragon Valley. Long De also came out. After coming out, he also saw that many martial artists were still hesitating whether to enter or not. Without saying a word, Li Lingtian and his companion flew away. There was no need for them to stay in this place. Wasn't that young man just now young noble Ling Tian? Li Ling Tian! A martial arts grandmaster exclaimed. Others might not know Li Ling Tian, but he did. A few years ago, the most famous genius in Green Continent was young Master Ling Tian. He was also from Green Island, so he naturally knew Li Ling Tian. That's right, you only just recognized him. You must definitely provoke young noble Ling Tian. Another martial arts grandmaster powerhouse only dared to speak when he saw Li Lingtian's back disappearing into the horizon. That's right. No one below a martial emperor is his match. Yao Hao was still shocked when he thought of Li Lingtian's strength. What shocked him even more was that young Master Ling Tian was destroyed by the god's wrath a few years ago. How could he appear here unscathed? No one below the martial emperor realm is his match? Qingli looked at Yao Hao as if he was a monster. Although the two of them had not known each other for long, they had worked together to kill a few powerful demon beasts, so their relationship was not bad. What's wrong? Isn't it? Yao Hao looked at Qingli's eyes and knew that there must be something he didn't know. He had only been in the Azure continent for less than a month, so he naturally didn't know anything. Sigh, you've only just arrived in the Azure continent. There are so many things that you don't know. He wiped out the Dishi family and the House of Storms single-handedly. The war god killed a martial emperor in seconds, and an 8th-level gorilla became his pet. No one in the Azure continent dares to provoke him. Even the experts of the House of Storms in the past had to flee far away. In front of him, a martial emperor is nothing but an ant. Furthermore, he's the first alchemy saint of the Azure continent, an honorary elder of the Alchemy Guild, and a saint array master. The more Qingli spoke, the more excited he became. Such a legendary figure, no one would not admire him. Such a figure, no one would not be afraid of him. In the past 2 years, this young man had completely overturned the Azure continent and caused the 3 superpowers of the Azure continent to reshuffle. What? Alchemy Saint. Holy Array Master, Martial Honor. Exterminate Dishi family and House of Storms, the strongest warrior in the Azure continent. Yao Hao was stunned. It was as if his soul had been sent flying. It took him a long time to wake up. Becoming a martial arts grandmaster in Azure continent was already so heaven-defying that no one in the entire Azure continent dared to provoke him. Even the 4 great empires dared to extort him. He did not expect that in just a few years, he had actually become a saint alchemist and a saint array master. He had even reached the legendary supreme realm. Wasn't this too heaven-defying? What kind of person was this? He was the strongest wherever he went. He was an overlord wherever he went. Wherever he went, he was earth-shattering. While the 2 martial arts grandmasters were discussing, Li Lingtian and Tang Qingyue were already 1,000 miles away. Tang Qingyue's cultivation was already a Tier 1 martial arts grandmaster. However, she would not unleash her cultivation when she was with Li Lingtian. It was always Li Lingtian who brought her away. In front of Li Lingtian, she was just a little girl. She was Li Lingtian's little woman. Lingtian, do you think big sister Yu Yan misses us? Tang Qingyue was hugged by Li Lingtian as she snuggled happily beside him. The true dragon's protective light shield covered the two of them as they glided rapidly in the air. There was no jolt at all, as if they were standing steadily on the ground. Yes, we've been in the Lost Forest for more than 2 months. They'll naturally be worried about us. Aren't you afraid that they'll laugh at you? Li Lingtian looked at Tang Qingyue with a hint of a smile in his eyes. I'm not afraid. I'm your woman. What's there to be embarrassed about? Besides, Qingling, Sister Yuyan, and Mei are still with you. I'm not afraid of this little sister Ge. Tang Qingyue said with a smile. Among these peerless beauties, only Xiao Bai and Ge were not with Li Lingtian. Yet, the 2 little beauties were clinging to Li Lingtian every day. They looked extremely intimate. Naturally, she could see the smile in Li Lingtian's eyes. He was obviously teasing her. Her heart was filled with sweetness. No one dared to bully her when she was with Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian protected her and doted on her in every way. No matter how powerful a woman's cultivation base was, it was better for her to have a man whom she liked and who liked her to take care of her. She had done it herself. She liked Li Lingtian, and Li Lingtian liked her in return. She knew that she was beautiful, but she knew that Li Lingtian was not doing it because of her beauty. With Li Lingtian's strength and charm, there was no beauty in the world who would not fall for him. You. Li Lingtian extended his hand and gently tapped Tang Qingyue's round nose with a faint smile on his face. Soon, the two of them arrived above the sea. Their divine senses moved, and a few spells were cast. Immediately, a rumble sounded in the air. The war god appeared in the distance and flew toward Li Lingtian. When Li Lingtian appeared, all the warriors came out to welcome him. Their faces were filled with joy. Although nobody could threaten them with the war god, it was different with Li Lingtian as he was their backbone. Welcome back, young master. Congratulations, young master. Your cultivation base has increased greatly. Congratulations. Congratulations, young madam. In an instant, more than 200 powerhouses on the war god came out to congratulate Li Lingtian. They were all extremely excited when they saw Li Lingtian's cultivation base skyrocketing. Moreover, they also discovered that Long Da's return this time was very different from before. It was obvious that his cultivation had increased a lot. Li Lingtian nodded his head one by one before finally arriving at the top. A few girls had been waiting for him for a long time and their faces were filled with excitement. Excitement was mixed with concern. After all, Li Lingtian had to deal with the powerhouses from the House of Storms and enter the Lost Forest to search for the dragon's soul. Swoosh! The restriction was activated and Li Lingtian entered the restriction. Tang Qingyue did not move away but clung to Li Lingtian's arm. Naturally, the girls understood what was going on. Li Lingtian and Tang Qingyue's relationship must have reached that stage. Naturally, Long Da stayed behind to guard the war god. Now that he was a true member of the dragon tribe and had been bestowed the roaring dragon halberd by Li Lingtian, it was only natural that he had to protect the war god, Li Lingtian, and the girls. Tang Qingyue let go of Li Lingtian after they entered the restriction. Shun Mei and the others naturally had to be intimate with Li Lingtian. It was impossible for her to hoard Li Lingtian all the time. Besides, her sisters were all living on the war god. It was easy for her to be intimate with Li Lingtian. Husband. Young master. Big brother. The few girls surrounded Li Lingtian happily. Huangfu Yuyan did not have the slightest scruples and was completely at ease as she chattered away like a little girl. Li Lingtian looked at the girls who had been separated for more than 2 months and he missed them dearly. In the end, Li Lingtian half reclined on the chair and enjoyed Huangfu Yuyan and Shun Mei's massage while eating the spirit fruit. He slowly recounted everything that had happened in the Lost Forest. Tang Qingyue also told him about the fun things that had happened in the Lost Forest. Big brother, you don't even bring me. Next time there's such a fun thing, you must bring Ge along. When Ge heard Tang Qingyue mention that there was something fun inside, she immediately pouted her rosy lips and twisted Li Lingtian's arm in a coquettish manner. The girls burst into laughter. Ge and Li Lingtian were senior siblings, so they knew that Li Lingtian treated Ge as his sister and doted on her like a treasure. The girls also liked Ge, this little sister. There was no one who didn't like a beautiful elf princess. Good, good. If you shake me a few more times, you'll tear apart my old bones. Li Lingtian felt helpless. Ge was like a precious gem in his heart and he had to take care of everything himself. She had acted coquettishly with him many times, so he could only let her be. Big brother, aren't you embarrassed? You're a martial honor. Are you old at the age of 20? You're the #1 genius in the world, the most handsome man in the world, and the most charming man. Gyl's jade-like fingers kept counting, praising Li Lingtian to the skies. Yeah, I'm the #1 genius in the world. I'm the most handsome man in the world. I'm the most charming man in the world. Li Lingtian put on a narcissistic look and the girls burst into laughter. They did not expect Li Lingtian to be so funny. However, the girls knew in their hearts that there were not many who could surpass Li Lingtian. He was also the most dashing and charming man who could make all the girls in the world fall for him. Chapter 410, The Demon Race's Interception. Chapter 410, The Demon Race's Interception. The few pretty girls chattered non-stop and Li Lingtian could only answer whatever he asked. After half an hour, Li Lingtian finally finished explaining what happened in the Lost Forest. Entering the Lost Forest this time was the easiest adventure he had ever had in his life. There wasn't much danger, but he had obtained a lot of benefits. Such a thing was originally a very good opportunity for a treasure hunter. However, for an expert, obtaining a treasure like this was a little too easy. It was inevitable that it would lack some excitement. Li Lingtian ordered Yifeng to steer the war god towards Azure Continent. There was no point in staying in Azure Continent, so he decided to return to Azure Continent first. Even the war god would need half a year to travel from Azure Continent to Azure Continent, and they would have to cross the endless sea. The war god was in a big city in Azure Continent. After collecting countless daily necessities and supplies, it began to fly quickly towards Azure Continent. A 200-mile-long silver monster was floating in the air at an extremely fast speed. The booming sound made countless powerful warriors and demon beasts retreat. The war god was flying at high speed while Li Lingtian was cultivating in his room. He wanted to cultivate all kinds of heaven-tier divine powers to the extreme. At his cultivation level, his enemies were all martial supremes and martial emperors. Naturally, he would not use earth-tier skills. If he did not cultivate the heaven-ranked divine power to the extreme, he would not have much confidence in facing a martial emperor. His heaven-grade divine powers were mainly the wrath of the gods, the extreme destruction of gods, and the great cloud palm. These were the three he cared about the most. However, his trump cards were indeed the heaven-destroying sword formation and the tyrant saber art. The protective divine power was naturally the true dragon body protection. This was an existence that could save one's life. As for the treasures, they were the heavenly fault sword, the Tianyu sword, and the heaven extreme tyrant emperor saber. He had mastered all of them, but there were still many skills and treasures that he had not mastered, such as the god-destroying wind and thunder slash and the heaven-measuring chaos ruler. These were all extremely mysterious treasures. Even the heaven and earth creation cauldron was not fully under his control. There were also some mysterious treasures that he did not even have the time to look at because he had to spend his time on cultivation. He had to grasp the things he controlled first. Otherwise, it would be useless no matter how much he learned. However, during this period of time, Li Lingtian spent his free time refining various treasures. Needless to say, he could not refine the heaven-measuring chaos ruler and the tempest annihilation slash. Time passed by day by day. The war god had arrived at the edge of the Azure Continent, the Ao Shao Sea. As long as they passed through the Ao Shao Sea, they would be able to enter the Azure Continent. However, the war god had only entered the sea for less than a day when it encountered trouble. On this day, Li Lingtian was in the midst of his cultivation when an alarm sounded. This alarm was only heard when the war god was under a destructive attack. For the war god to call the police, there must be a martial emperor attacking the war god. Li Lingtian stopped his training and left the room quickly. He came to the war god's exterior and sized it up. The war god's defensive array formation was constantly being destroyed. Although the damaged array formation was repairing itself, the war god would definitely be destroyed if this continued. There were more than 100 powerhouses floating in the air. All of them were martial-honored powerhouses. Moreover, there were more than 10 martial emperor powerhouses in the middle. One of them had even reached the peak of the 6th-level martial emperor realm. The terrifying demonic attacks continued to bombard the war god. The defensive power of the array formation against the demonic attacks was greatly reduced. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been bombarded like this. Li Lingtian, you're finally out. I thought you were going to be a coward. A young man in black shouted loudly when he saw Li Lingtian on the war god. His face was filled with arrogance, completely disregarding the war god that everyone feared. Demons, enemies really meet on a narrow road. I didn't expect you to be waiting here for a long time. Tell me, young Master Nanling, do you think you can mobilize so many people to kill me with your status? With Li Lingtian's appearance, all the powerhouses stopped attacking the war god. Instead, they stood in front of the war god and blocked its path. A faint smile appeared on Li Lingtian's face as he looked at the young man before him. His heart was a little heavy. He did not expect young Master Nanling to still dare to come after escaping the last time. He must be confident of something. Moreover, with Li Lingtian's reputation, these martial emperors and revered martial artists would definitely be courting death if they came to kill him. Since it was a suicidal act, they should not have done it, but they had to. Besides, with young Master Nanling's status, it was impossible for him to mobilize so many experts to kill him, unless it was young Master Ming Xiao. You're Li Lingtian. Who are you? The 6th-level martial emperor elder asked coldly. There was a faint demonic aura around him, but it was extremely pure. Moreover, his entire body was emitting a deathly aura, causing Li Lingtian to feel a little uncomfortable. That's right. What do you want to teach me? Li Lingtian replied calmly. A 6th firmament martial emperor was very powerful. If it were not for Long Da, he would have been worried. However, with Long Da's help, he would not be worried. Moreover, his cultivation was not weak anymore, so he could naturally give it a try. Come out and die. I will let you die with an understanding. I am Xia Tian. You shouldn't have provoked the House of Storms. The eldest young master is already angry. The consequences are very serious. Xia Tian stared coldly at Li Lingtian and was stunned. Although he had heard of Li Lingtian's reputation, he did not expect him to be so young. Furthermore, he was only a 3rd heaven martial honor. When he came to the Azure continent, some people had already commented on Li Lingtian's strength. However, he had never taken a martial honor seriously. No matter how powerful a Supreme Realm expert was, he was no match for a martial emperor. The opponent was only relying on the war god and the tier 8 gorilla demon. As long as they destroyed the war god, they would be able to kill Li Lingtian. According to the news from the Devil's Soul Palace, the gorilla demon had fallen into a deep slumber and was no longer a threat. That was why he was relieved to deal with Li Lingtian. Naturally, Li Lingtian did not know that Elder Tian Yin of the House of Storms had a daughter who had married into Serenity Plains and became the concubine of the Serenity Plains' eldest young master. Although she was only a concubine, the Serenity Plains' eldest young master was of a high status. Naturally, he would not stand by and watch when he heard the concubine's complaints. I see. It turns out that the House of Storms has Yuzhou behind it. Not bad, not bad. Li Lingtian now understood that young Master Nanling did not have such authority with his status. However, the Asmodean clan's eldest young master had such authority. It turned out that the House of Storms was backed by the Serenity Plains. If he wiped out the House of Storms, he would naturally offend the Serenity Plains. He thought it was funny. He had dealt with the demon experts several times, but he had never eliminated them. Now, they had finally come to him. The reason why they came to find him was not because of anything else, but because of the Kanglan building. It seemed that the forces in this world were really complicated. Come out and die. Xia Tian said coldly. He was displeased that Li Lingtian, a martial-honored realm warrior, was so calm and collected. Do you think you can escape from me just because you're a 6th-level martial emperor? Li Lingtian was puzzled. Everyone in the world knew that he had a gorilla demon, so why did these people still dare to come and die? As he spoke, he looked at the martial emperor powerhouses with an unchanged expression. If you had a gorilla demon, we wouldn't have come to kill you so easily. However, your gorilla demon has already fallen. You're just a mere revered martial artist. With this war god, do you think you can fight a martial emperor? Xia Tian was furious. This young man in front of him was still bragging under such circumstances. He even said that they were not confident of escaping. Oh, I see. Since that's the case, I'll show you the true power of the war god. Li Lingtian shot a look at Yi Feng before the war god shook slightly with a loud boom. 16 silver pillars appeared once again, and light shadows blasted out. The space trembled as well. In the middle of the pillar, a destructive light shadow erupted. It was obvious that this light shadow was different from the other light shadows. Rumble. A series of explosions rang out as countless powerhouses flashed. However, facing the wargod's attacks, not a single one of them died. Especially the pillar in the middle. The light projection it emitted directly killed the Martial Emperor powerhouse. This pillar was powered by the inner core of a 7th-rank demonic beast, while the other pillars were powered by the inner cores of 5th-rank and 6th-rank demonic beasts. Boom! 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 Ah, ah! Waves of explosions and miserable cries sounded as Supreme Realm and Martial Monarch Realm experts died continuously. The elites on the war god also launched their attacks. Although they couldn't kill the opponent, they could use their attacks to block the opponent's attacks and reduce the threat to the war god. This was also their duty, specifically to protect the war god. The terrifying demonic energy had already enveloped the war god, and the arrays on the war god were also being broken. There were only a few Martial Monarch Realm experts and 100 Supreme Realm experts left. Only young Master Nanling, Xie Tian, and the others survived. There were only 5 Martial Emperor powerhouses in total. Although the other Martial Honors and Martial Emperors were killed, the War God was also corroded by the endless demonic chi. Although the War God's defense was strong, the demonic chi's corrosion of the array formation was far beyond Li Lingtian's expectations. Crash! The 3,000-plus defensive arrays were completely eroded. It was like a bubble that had been punctured. The War God was exposed to the air, without any defense. Instantly, a shocking demonic aura swept towards all the experts. Countless martial venerables and martial monarchs were attacked by the demonic chi, and their faces turned pale. If this continued, even if they were not attacked by the demonic chi, they would be corroded by the demonic chi. Only the top 3 floors of the War God were not corroded by the demonic QJ. This was because Li Lingtian had added a defensive formation to the array formation on the top floor to prevent the demonic chi from corroding. Li Lingtian, surrender now. Xie Tian arrived before the War God. When he saw the defenseless War God and the martialists who were being corroded by the demonic chi, he revealed an evil smile. He glared at Li Lingtian coldly while the other 4 martial emperors laughed wildly. Chapter 411, Chapter 411, 1 against 4. Chapter 411, 1 against 4. Arrogant, ignorant. Li Lingtian snorted coldly. His expression was calm and there was no change in his expression. His War God array had been destroyed, and he was extremely unhappy. After saying that, he waved his hand at Longda, who was behind him. Longda's body flashed and turned into a true dragon, charging towards Xie Tian. In the air, a shocking dragon energy erupted. The appearance of the dragon energy immediately collided with the demonic energy. These 2 auras did not belong to humans. Moreover, these 2 auras were the most domineering auras. Li Lingtian had instructed Longda that his duty was to protect Huangfu Yuyan and the rest. As long as their safety was not threatened, he should not make a move. Even if the War God was destroyed, he would not intervene. However, when it threatened Li Lingtian and Huangfu Yuyan, he would intervene and kill them all. Now that Li Lingtian had given the signal, he naturally had to take the lead. The terrifying dragon energy soared into the sky and continuously tore apart the demonic energy on the War God. In the end, it was all expelled from the War God. Although demonic chi was powerful, dragon chi was also shocking. In terms of strength, they really didn't know that demonic chi and dragon chi were more domineering. However, Longda's true dragon body was at level 5 of the 7th level, and his cultivation was equivalent to the 5th heaven of the Martial Emperor realm. However, with his true strength, he would not have any problem facing Xie Tian, who was at the 6th heaven of the Martial Emperor realm. 7th rank, 5th rank transformed demonic beast. Xie Tian, young Master Nanling, and the others all saw through Long De's cultivation and were instantly shocked. In the past, the halo of the gorilla demon had drowned out Long De, so they were all afraid of the gorilla demon and completely ignored him. He had only thought of Long De as a level 1 7th order monster beast. However, he had never expected that in such a short time, this unknown Long De had actually reached level 5 7th order. Moreover, his aura had become extremely pure. Compared to the two, it was completely different. Wipe him out, Li Lingtian said coldly. His body flashed as he unleashed the dragon energy from his body. The true dragon body barrier was activated and the shocking dragon energy soared into the sky. Although the dragon chi was not weaker than Long Da's, its purity and power were not inferior to Long Da's. In fact, it was even more domineering than Long Da's dragon chi. This was the difference between giant dragon power and flying dragon power. Li Lingtian cultivated the true dragon body barrier and refined the dragon soul to become a true dragon. Naturally, he was more powerful than Long De. He flew toward young Master Nanling. Young Master Nanling was at the second heaven of Martial Emperor realm. He had killed him last time, but he had used the soul-shifting technique to escape. His current cultivation was comparable to that time. It was not difficult for him to deal with a second-level martial monarch now. With Long De holding Xie Tian back, it would be easy for him to deal with a few first and second heaven martial emperors. The wrath of the gods. With a light shout, the thunderclap wings appeared. His body disappeared strangely and reappeared. For the first time, he escaped the joint attack of 4 martial monarch realm experts. The thunderclap wings ignored the distance of space and teleported in space without any spatial fluctuations. His body strangely appeared in the sky above the 4 martial monarch realm experts. When he appeared and was discovered, a destructive heavenly might descended from the sky. Rumble. Boom. Rumble. Crackle. Endless thunder and lightning struck down. Within a radius of 10 miles, it was filled with thunder and lightning. The lightning was as thick as a child's arm. Every time the purple lightning struck down, it was equivalent to a destructive strike from a martial supreme. Countless lightning bolts pressed the 4 martial emperor powerhouses into the air and they could only passively resist. Li Lingtian's body was in mid-air as his hands moved continuously, unleashing a series of magic arts. The gods were furious. Destructive lightning and thunder bombarded down endlessly. However, it was impossible to kill the 4 martial emperor powerhouses. Ice, fire, 9 heavens, extinction. At this moment, he finally found an opportunity. He flipped his hands, and a glacier and a flame appeared in his hands. He put his hands together, and an aura of destruction and death appeared. These 2 auras were instantly covered by an aura of extermination. Between heaven and earth, a desolate aura of extermination made people feel terrified. A huge 4-colored light seemed to pour down from the 9 heavens, and the space was directly torn apart. Nanming sword. True devil-defying god. Great profound devil palm. Great demon true body. The 4 martial emperor powerhouses were shocked when they saw the beam of light descending amidst the endless lightning and thunder. Young Master Nanling was even more aware that he had fought with Li Lingtian before, so he naturally understood how terrifying this move was. The shocking pillar of light instantly descended and ruthlessly collided with the defenses of the 4 martial monarch realm experts. Boom! Rumble! Kacha, kacha! With an explosion, the defenses of the 4 martial monarch realm experts shattered. The shocking pillar of light disappeared, but a destructive halo appeared. Wherever the halo passed, there was endless destruction. Puff! 2 peak first-level martial emperors were killed. Now, only young Master Nanling and a second-level martial emperor were left. Naturally, Li Lingtian would not give his opponent any chance to react. If he lost the initiative, he would not be able to fight a martial emperor no matter how powerful he was. In a great battle, strength and wisdom were the deciding factors. Divine destruction to the extreme. Li Lingtian's body flashed. He had injured the opponent's martial emperor, so the opponent's martial emperor reacted swiftly and unleashed a devastating attack. He flapped his thunderclap wings and luckily dodged the destructive attack. When his body reappeared, he used the god-extinguishing extreme skill. Immediately, a destructive heavenly might descended. He had seen this god-extinguishing extreme skill before and had endured it before. He had almost been killed. The pressure that was like the might of the heavens blasted toward the second heaven of the martial emperor realm. The might of the heavens carried a destructive intent attack that crushed the will of the experts. Rumble. With a loud explosion, Li Lingtian's body swayed as blood trickled down the corner of his mouth. When he hit the second level of the martial emperor realm, he was unable to dodge in time and was hit by young Master Nanling's sneak attack. However, the body of a true dragon, the defense of a giant dragon, and the limitless feather coat naturally could not kill him. However, it shocked him. After all, young Master Nanling was a martial emperor. Rumble. Rumble. In the distance, Xie Tian's face was filled with anger. He was a sixth heaven martial emperor, yet he was being suppressed by a transformed demonic beast. He had never thought that this 7th level 5th level demonic beast would actually control such a powerful treasure. Every attack carried the power of destruction, completely displaying the strength of the dragon race. Moreover, the dragon race's defense was extremely powerful. His attack could not kill Longde at all. Looking at the 4 martial monarch realm experts on his side, there were only 2 left. He had no way at all and it was impossible for him to escape. On Li Lingtian's side, it was quiet for the time being. Blood trickled down the corner of Li Lingtian's mouth as his face turned pale. However, young Master Nanling was also fearful. The other second heaven martial emperor was also trembling from Li Lingtian's attack and did not dare to make a move. On the war god, all the powerhouses were looking at Li Lingtian and Longde. They saw that the 2 of them had managed to pin down the other party and that Li Lingtian had even killed 2 martial emperor powerhouses. Li Lingtian was only a revered martial artist, yet he was able to kill 2 martial sovereigns. There was nothing fancy about it, but he had relied entirely on his own strength, experience, and wisdom to kill 2 martial sovereigns. The dozen array masters also hurriedly repaired the array, trying to restore it. On the top 3 floors of the war god, Huang Fuyuyan and the other girls were heartbroken to see Li Lingtian injured. However, they were extremely happy to see Li Lingtian's domineering strength. Sister Qingyue, will my big brother be alright? He's already injured. Although Ge had great confidence in Li Lingtian, he was still worried when he saw Li Lingtian injured. Don't worry, he hasn't used his true trump card yet. Huang Fuyuyan did not wait for Tang Qingyue's reply before she spoke with a blissful expression on her face. She had placed all her hopes on Li Lingtian. She wanted to see him become a martial god powerhouse. Besides, Li Lingtian was her man, so he would not be so bad. That's right, Sister Yuyan is right. Ling Tian still has his trump cards that he hasn't used yet, the Tyrant Saber Art and the Heaven-Destroying Sword Formation. Tang Qingyue nodded as she spoke. She was well aware of Li Lingtian's strength and cultivation base. Naturally, she knew what Li Lingtian's most powerful attack was. Young Master Nanling, right? I let you escape last time, but you came to me this time. I can only say that you're ignorant. Li Lingtian's eyes were fixed on young Master Nanling, ignoring the second firmament martial emperor. The thunderclap wings on his body flapped slightly. The translucent wings emitted a faint lightning glow, and a sizzling sound rang out in the air. Li Lingtian, you're very powerful. However, you won't be so lucky this time. Young Master Nanling had forcefully consolidated his body during his return. His cultivation base had increased tremendously and he had even obtained a destructive heavenly superpower. He was here to kill Li Lingtian with his own hands to vent his hatred. Die! In a flash, Li Lingtian's body disappeared mysteriously. When he reappeared, he was already beside young Master Nanling. Young Master Nanling was shocked. He was extremely afraid of Li Lingtian's body movement technique. Naturally, he was worried that Li Lingtian could invade him so easily and soundlessly. He channeled all his true essence and sent a stream of demonic qi toward Li Lingtian. However, Li Lingtian had no intention of making a move at all. It was just a flash. At that moment, a long sword appeared in Li Lingtian's hand. The long sword was emitting a terrifying sword will. He swung the long sword casually at the injured Second Heaven Martial Emperor powerhouse. The sword light carried sword momentum and arrived in front of the second-level Martial Emperor realm powerhouse without leaving a trace. Rumble. Kacha. At that moment, young Master Nanling realized that Li Lingtian was trying to divert his attention. However, it was useless even if he knew because he had already unleashed his attack. A destructive demonic qi shot into the air. Li Lingtian had long disappeared and his sword radiance had arrived before the Second Heaven Martial Emperor realm. The second-level Martial Emperor realm was in despair as he looked at the sword ray that carried the sword aura. He subconsciously blocked it with a defensive treasure in his hand. The sword light easily cut through the defensive treasure and disappeared. The air froze. Li Lingtian's body flashed once again and he left young Master Nanling far away. Chapter 412, Blood Demon Shocks the Heavens. Chapter 412, Blood Demon Shocks the Heavens. He wiped the blood off the corner of his mouth and smiled. After eliminating the other 3 Martial Monarch realm experts, he now had some confidence in facing the most dangerous young Master Nanling. Although this young Master Nanling was abnormally terrifying, he was still killed by him last time. In the end, although he used the soul-shifting grand magic to escape, now that he met him again, he was always a threat. As an expert, the sense of threat was the most important. Although he did not know what kind of terrifying treasure or skill this young Master Nanling had, he did not dare to be careless. Longda, who was far away, was also starting to lose. He had the upper hand at the beginning, but now, he was at a disadvantage for some reason. With Longda's cultivation and strength, coupled with the Roaring Dragon battle halberd, he should not have been defeated by Xia Tian. However, the tables had turned and Li Lingtian felt a sense of foreboding. If he didn't finish off young Master Nanling, he wouldn't be able to help Longda. At that time, he and the others would die here. You were lucky last time. Try my blood demon shocks the heavens. Young Master Nanling's expression changed when he saw that the 3 martial Supreme Realm warriors around him had fallen into Li Lingtian's trap one after another. Without any helpers, he was deeply afraid of Li Lingtian. He had been killed by Li Lingtian the last time. If he had not mastered the Devil Tribe's soul transference technique, he would have vanished into thin air. It was also because Li Lingtian was unaware of his soul transference technique that he had the chance to escape. It was rare for him to meet an opponent in his life, but he did not expect to be defeated and killed by a martial honor. How could he bear such humiliation in his heart? After saying that, the true essence in his entire body changed. The true essence directly transformed into shocking demonic qi. With the appearance of the demonic qi, he transformed into a huge blood demon. In the air, within a radius of 1 mile, there was a blood curtain, just like a blood pool, making people feel disgusted and uncomfortable. Li Lingtian's body flashed as he retreated quickly. The blood veil floated in the air and any warrior who touched it would be tainted by it. It could even taint a powerhouse's true essence and treasures. Li Lingtian furrowed his brows at the sight of the blood veil as he circulated his true essence to the maximum. Dragon power. With a loud roar, streams of violent dragon energy appeared in the air. Li Lingtian was surrounded by destructive dragon energy. 4 gigantic dragons spiraled around him, tearing the air apart. Roar! The 4 giant dragons roared furiously. Dragon chi that seemed to tear through space stirred up the blood veil. The 4 giant dragons also shot toward young Master Nanling, causing the space to tremble. Blood demon shocks the heavens. Boundless blood sea. Young Master Nanling could not help but shudder when he sensed the powerful and terrifying dragon. Li Lingtian's cultivation base had become so terrifying recently. He thought that his cultivation had been progressing quickly and his abilities had improved significantly. However, he did not expect Li Lingtian to improve his cultivation faster than him. Seeing the 4 dragons charging at him, his expression kept changing. With a wave of his hand, a blood pillar appeared in the sea of blood in front of him and went straight for the 4 dragons. Chi-chi! Chi-chi! Roar, roar! The blood pillar hit the 3 dragons, and the 3 dragons let out sizzling sounds. The terrifying dragons had powerful defenses, but they were actually unable to resist the blood pillar at all. The 3 giant dragons were quickly eroded and cries of pity rang out. Li Lingtian shuddered as well. He did not expect that his true dragon body barrier, which he had cultivated to level 4, would be defeated just like that on his first try. Rumble! The last giant dragon bypassed the blood pillar and crashed into young Master Nanling's body, but it was defeated by the blood pillar in the end. Young Master Nanling's body was sent flying while the 4 giant dragons were completely reduced to nothingness. Li Lingtian's body swayed as he spat out a mouthful of blood. The dragon power was condensed from his dragon energy. After receiving such an attack, he was also shaken. Both of them were injured in different ways. Li Lingtian did not expect young Master Nanling to cultivate such a terrifying devil chi. It was the most evil devil technique of the devil tribe. Ice Flame. Li Lingtian did not dare to attack again. Against such an evil creature that specialized in corrupting treasures and attacks, it would be futile to use destructive attacks. With a thought of his divine sense, he used the ice flame that he had condensed. This ice flame was also obtained in the Devil Canyon. He had not completely refined the ice flame that he had obtained last time. However, this time, the icy frost flame was the size of a bowl. The appearance of the ice flame immediately caused a terrifying strangeness to appear between heaven and earth. It was unknown if it was cold or hot. However, when young Master Nanling saw this icy flame, his face revealed a trace of fear. If Li Lingtian were to use any other attack or treasure, he would be able to corrupt them. However, the icy frost flame had the same effect as his blood curtain, which was specifically used to erode a warrior's vital essence. He was still extremely confident in his blood demon shocking the heavens. With a wave of his hand, another blood pillar met the icy frost flame. TSK TSK. Chi-chi. Chi-chi, chi-chi. Instantly, the air began to burn. It was both burning and solidifying. The combination of the 2 extremes immediately caused the blood pillar to be in a stalemate. Li Lingtian and young Master Nanling looked at each other. In such a situation, they were almost on par with each other and it was hard to tell who would win. The 2 of them began to calculate in their hearts what attack they would use next. Yes! Li Lingtian waved his hand, but the icy frost flame did not even shake the blood veil. Instead, it was being eroded by the blood veil. If this continued, the icy frost flame that he had painstakingly cultivated would be eroded. The frost blaze had been retracted and the blood pillar had caught up to Li Lingtian. Glare mirror. Li Lingtian had already calculated this. Since he dared to retract the ice frost flame, he must have some defensive measures. With a flick of his divine consciousness, a mirror appeared. Suddenly, a ray of light appeared and shot towards the blood veil. Crash! The blood curtain was reflected back into the air. The light from the glare mirror also disappeared. 5 elements paragon. Balance of the 5 elements. Li Lingtian kept calculating in his heart. Other attacks were ineffective, but the 5 elements martial soul was the most basic attribute in the world. With its species attribute perfected, it should be able to suppress the blood veil. Instantly, the auras of the various species appeared. The 5 auras fused together, forming a faint 5-colored light that quickly descended from the sky. Chi-chi, chi-chi. The blood curtain rolled and struggled, but the aura of the 5 elements martial soul suppressed it. Gradually, the 5-colored light of the 5 elements martial soul wrapped around the blood curtain. In the end, the blood veil completely disappeared, turning into air and drifting in the air. The entire process seemed to take a long time, but it only took an instant. Young Master Nanling was overjoyed when he saw that his blood veil had succeeded repeatedly. However, he did not expect that the five-colored light unleashed by Li Lingtian would negate the blood veil in an instant. In fact, the blood veil had completely disappeared. It was already too late for him to retract the blood veil. He was furious in his heart. This was the cultivation he had cultivated. Spatial imprisonment. With the blood veil resolved, Li Lingtian's evil expression calmed down. With a wave of his hand, a banner appeared. The space trembled slightly before it came to a stop. Sword howl, heaven and earth. With a soft shout, the sword will from his entire body soared into the sky. The shocking sword will wreaked havoc in the space as Li Lingtian stood proudly between heaven and earth like a sharp sword. The Tianyu sword was displayed. He looked at the longsword seriously and casually waved it. Sword force was a type of sword trajectory. The sword light appeared, but this sword light made people feel that it was erratic. They did not know the trajectory of the sword light, so they could not block it. The sword ray seemed very slow, but it was actually very fast. In an instant, the sword ray struck young Master Nanling's body, and young Master Nanling's eyes revealed a look of fear. Tear! Ah! The sound of cloth being torn apart rang out. The sound was ear-piercing, and it was followed by young Master Nanling's miserable cry. Young Master Nanling's entire body was split into two halves. You want to leave? It's too late. Li Lingtian watched as young Master Nanling was split in half, but his expression did not change at all. Because he was really the young master of Nanling, he would not die so easily. He had escaped the last time. As expected, when young Master Nanling died, a black fog drifted out and quickly flew into the distance. Those who did not know would naturally not know that this black fog was young Master Nanling's soul. With a light shout, he flicked his finger and the icy frost flames shot out. The icy frost flames arrived in front of the black mist and instantly wrapped around it. The frozen sky was the most magical ice and flames in the world. If one's soul was wrapped in it, there was no reason for them to survive. Ah, 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 ah. Miserable screams came out from the ice flames. Young Master Nanling's shadow appeared in the ice flames. It was a very blurry shadow, but it was young Master Nanling's soul. As long as his soul escaped, he could be possessed and reborn with the techniques of the demons. There's a path to heaven, but you don't take it. There's no door to hell, but you barged in. Li Lingtian said coldly as he looked at Longda and Xia Tian in the distance. Longda was completely suppressed by Xia Tian. If it were not for Longda's realm, roaring dragon battle poleaxe, true dragon body and terrifying dragon energy, Longda would have been killed. He saw that there were already several injuries on Longda's body, and the injuries were very serious. With such an injury, if Longda had not protected Li Lingtian and helped him restrain Xia Tian, he would have fled. Ah! With a final scream, young Master Nanling's soul was finally refined and completely devoured by the icy frost flame. Xia Tian, who was standing in the distance, did not expect Li Lingtian to be so terrifying. Even young Master Nanling's sky-shocking blood demon was dispelled by Li Lingtian. Now that the four martial Supreme Realm experts had been killed, even though he was suppressing Longda's attack, it was impossible for him to kill Longda now. Li Lingtian had the time to spare, but he was not confident that he could kill Longda with the two of them joining forces. Chapter 413, Chapter 413, Immortal Body, 1. Chapter 413, Immortal Body, 1. Roar! With a roar, Longda was sent flying by Xia Tian's destructive attack, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Li Lingtian was shocked by this change. He did not expect Xia Tian to unleash a forbidden attack at this time. It seemed like he did not want to be entangled in this place anymore. As the flying dragon was strong, Xia Tian's demonic chi revolved and a jet-black demonic chi blasted toward Li Lingtian. The black demonic chi was at least 10 meters thick and 100 meters long. Its speed was extremely fast as it pierced through space and came crashing down on Li Lingtian. This move was obviously meant to kill Li Lingtian before leaving this place. He had brought hundreds of revered martial artists and more than 10 martial supreme realm experts with him, but they were all wiped out. If he did not kill Li Lingtian, he would have to bear the wrath of the eldest young master when he returned. Tyrannical Blade Art, Desolate 10 consecutive slashes. Li Lingtian did not expect Xie Tian to pull such a trick. With a flick of his divine consciousness, he unleashed the Empyrean Terminus Emperor Saber. The shocking pressure continued to stir the space. Without the slightest hesitation, he used all his true essence to execute the heavenly extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber. A saber intent appeared and slashed out casually. Suddenly, 10 saber lights overlapped and fiercely met the huge demonic chi in the air. Boom! Crash! Boom! With an explosion, the desolate 10 consecutive slashes, which carried the power of a divine weapon, directly shattered the demonic chi. The last 2 saber lights ruthlessly slashed onto Xie Tian's body. It was impossible for the 2 saber lights to kill her at the 6th heaven of the martial emperor realm. Even if they could not kill her, Xie Tian was severely injured and spat out a mouthful of black demon blood. Roar! Long De was enraged when he was injured. He would feel guilty if Xie Tian had injured Li Lingtian. How could he not be angry that he had almost tricked Li Lingtian in front of him? He ignored his injuries and with a roar, he swung his Dragon Roar battle halberd into the air. A destructive attack tore through the air and struck the unprepared Xie Tian. Ah! Arg! A blood-curdling scream reverberated through the world. Even though the demons had the same physique as the demons, when they encountered a supreme treasure of the dragon race like the Dragon Roar battle halberd, even a 7th heaven martial emperor would be severely injured, let alone a 6th heaven martial emperor like him. Dragon power. Li Lingtian also kept his ultimate tyrannical emperor saber. With a loud roar, his body flashed as if he was soaring through the heavens and earth. The 4 giant dragons roared and charged at Xie Tian. Black Demon, Incarnation. The 6th heaven martial emperor was severely injured from the 2 attacks. His heart trembled when he saw Li Lingtian's destructive attack. He could not care less about anything else as he circulated his demonic chi and unleashed the forbidden incarnation of the internals. Suddenly, the demonic chi in the world surged. Xie Tian turned into a 100-meter-tall black devil. A huge fist smashed towards the dragon. Boom! The giant dragon was destroyed, but the other 3 giant dragons became even more terrifying after receiving the dragon energy of the giant dragon of destruction. They charged at the giant demon with indomitable will. Boom! 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 With 3 loud explosions, the 3 giant dragons vanished. However, Li Lingtian was not implicated this time because his cultivation base was shattered and not tainted by the blood veil. The dragon power was instantly destroyed, but the last dragon slammed into the troll's body. The troll was also sent flying, and pitch-black blood spurted out. Myriad swords returned to the origin. Li Lingtian came to a halt and circulated his sword will. He also unleashed the heavenly fault sword and with a single slap, a ball of light exploded. Instantly, a world of swords appeared with him as the center. This world of swords was filled with tens of thousands of sharp swords. Every single sharp sword was in existence above profound-level weapons.
Furthermore, there were countless emperor weapons, heaven weapons, and even saint weapons. The heavenly fault sword was a peerless saint artifact, and it was also the catalyst for the sword formation, driving the entire sword formation to spin. Whoosh! 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 With a flick of Li Lingtian's finger, 10,000 swords flew out together with a shocking sword aura and sword ray. The sword silks formed a sword net and the 10,000 swords connected with each other. Instantly, the power of the profound armament was amplified by 100 times. Everything in the world was destroyed by the myriad returning swords. Everything was fused into the sword array. This was Li Lingtian's ultimate return of 10,000 swords. With one strike, the world shook. Chi chi. The sword silks tore through space, and tens of thousands of sword lights and sword chi had already pierced through the giant devil's body. The giant devil was turned into pieces. It was completely penetrated by the sword chi and sword light. Its body was also directly turned into pieces by the sword silk. The giant devil no longer existed. Destruction was between heaven and earth. Thousands of swords flew toward Li Lingtian. With a single hand, all the sharp swords disappeared and entered Li Lingtian's light orb. The light orb was then absorbed into Li Lingtian's dantian. Turning weapons into chi was the symbol of a martial arts grandmaster or above. However, the number of weapons that each martial arts grandmaster could turn into chi was limited, and there were only one or two life-bound treasures. Li Lingtian had become a revered martial artist and had undergone countless tempering. He was no longer an ordinary person. The heavenly sword body, the flaming sacred body, the five elements perfection, and the ice and fire martial souls were all the most mysterious existences in the world. He could easily turn the 10,000 swords into chi. After all, he had the heavenly sword physique. The heavenly fault sword also entered his dantian, and he looked at the sky coldly. Long Da and Li Lingtian formed an opposing force. Both of them understood the wonders of the infernals. Moreover, Xie Tian was a sixth heaven martial emperor. It would not be easy to kill him. The world fell silent as Li Lingtian entered a state of emptiness. He closed his eyes slightly. He used his consciousness to sense the fluctuations of space. The strangeness of the demons was beyond his imagination, but he had the holy demon ring and the holy demon quintessence, so he naturally understood a lot. The last time young Master Namling escaped, it was only because he had carelessly neglected that young Master Namling was a fiend. Ha, ah. Ha 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 ha. At that moment, countless devil chi slowly gathered in Li Lingtian's divine consciousness. The troll Xie Tian that had vanished into thin air gradually formed a shadow in the air. The shadow laughed maniacally. Sensing all of this, Li Lingtian opened his eyes and a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. Young Master. Long Da naturally didn't notice the change in the giant demon because everything in the air was the same as before. There was no aura or spatial fluctuation. However, he knew something was amiss when he saw Li Lingtian's expression. He quickly asked. Be careful, he's coming out. Li Lingtian said calmly without any expression on his face. His eyes were focused on a spot in the sky. Upon hearing Li Lingtian's words, Long Da became more cautious. He unleashed all of his dragon energy and drew out his roaring dragon warrior halberd. With dragon energy infused into the weapon, he would unleash a shocking attack the moment the troll appeared. He did not doubt Li Lingtian's words at all because he knew that Li Lingtian's strength was terrifying. His various methods were beyond the imagination of ordinary people.
Moreover, Li Lingtian would never joke around when he was facing his enemies. Long Da's expression changed drastically as he followed Li Lingtian's gaze. He did not notice it at first, but upon closer inspection, he noticed traces of demonic chi twisting. I have an undying body. Human, thank you for your help. In order to thank you, I will use your souls to pay tribute to my immortal body. The voice of the giant devil rang out in the space. The voice was real and was no longer sensed by Li Lingtian. The demonic chi continued to distort and gather together. The originally gray sky was swept clean of demonic chi because it had all gathered together. An ordinary demon powerhouse appeared in Li Lingtian's line of sight. Xie Tian was still Xie Tian, but his eyes were bloodshot and he was much more terrifying than before. Undying body? Ignorant. There is no such thing as an undying body in this world. If I kill you, you will never be reincarnated. Li Lingtian was relieved to see Xie Tian emerge. If Xie Tian were to launch a sneak attack, it would be a real headache. The mystical world of immortality did exist, but it was only a form of constitution and talent. It was not truly unkillable. As he spoke, he calculated. He had already tried his most powerful trump card, but it had not been able to kill Xia Tian. There was no weapon or skill that could threaten Xia Tian now. His heart began to tremble. This was the first time he had encountered such a thing. In the past, he could still rely on all kinds of heaven-defying pills, divine artifacts, and all kinds of heaven-grade divine abilities. However, he now understood that the difference in cultivation might not be made up by any divine artifact or divine ability. Die! Xia Tian looked at Li Lingtian coldly. Li Lingtian was a martial honor, yet he had destroyed her sixth heaven martial emperor realm's soul. If he had not suddenly comprehended the demon race's undying body, he would have vanished into thin air. This child could not be left alive. If he was left alive, he would definitely be a great calamity for the demons. He was already so domineering at the age of 20. If he was given another few decades, the demons would be finished. Without any hesitation, he waved his hand and a huge demonic chi fist shadow came hurtling toward him. The fist shadow was extremely fast and it struck Li Lingtian in an instant. Boom! With a dull thud, Li Lingtian was thrown into the air as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His mind trembled. This giant devil didn't have any tricks up his sleeves and directly attacked with destructive power. It was a simple punch that was extremely fast and powerful. Li Lingtian did not even have the chance to react before he was sent flying by the punch. He really can take a beating. Xia Tian was also shocked. It looked like a simple punch, but it carried the most powerful destructive power. This was the most overbearing attack of the devil race. In his imagination, this punch could even kill a sixth heaven martial emperor. He did not expect that this supreme realm young man would only suffer some minor injuries after taking a punch head-on. This was beyond his imagination. Naturally, he did not know how powerful Li Lingtian's true dragon body barrier was. There was also the limitless feather coat. Just these two items alone were enough to withstand a martial emperor's full-powered attack without suffering any damage. Li Lingtian's injury had exceeded his expectations. All right. This young master will play with you today. Li Lingtian's courage was also boosted. He was not pleased to be defeated by such a simple fist shadow. He had the true dragon body protection and the limitless feather coat. Could it be that he was really afraid of such a defense? In the past, he had always used heaven-grade divine powers and saint artifacts to kill his opponents across space. He rarely relied on his physique and strength to fight his enemies in close combat. With a roar, all the vital essence in his body disappeared, and the true dragon chi that he exchanged for was wrapped around by a shocking dragon chi. The true dragon body barrier was used again, and the divine dragon ring was opened. The destructive dragon chi entered his body, dominating Heaven Fist. With a flash of his body, he threw a destructive punch at the other party. Chapter 414, Blood Demon Blade. Chapter 414, Blood Demon Blade. 1. Boom! His figure turned into a shooting star, and his fist shadow was like a mountain. In an instant, the huge fist bombarded Xia Tian's body. His speed was extremely fast, ignoring the distance between them. With a muffled sound, a powerful force raged in the air. Xia Tian's body was thrown out, and he spat out a mouthful of black blood. This attack was returned to him. Previously, Li Lingtian was also sent flying by Xia Tian's punch. Li Lingtian was only a level 3 martial honor while Xia Tian was a level 6 martial emperor. The difference between them was like heaven and earth. However, Li Lingtian had the true dragon's body protection and the divine weapon, limitless feather coat. He could withstand the blow. Now, Li Lingtian unleashed his dominating heavenly fist with a destructive blow, sending Xia Tian flying. The two of them were even for a moment. This situation made Xia Tian furious. Okay, big brother is too handsome. Husband is the most powerful. Good luck, Lingtian. 1. Young lord is mighty. Young lord is mighty. The few girls on the war god were excited. Countless powerhouses were also thrilled. Most powerhouses would fight with weapons and skills, but Li Lingtian had given up everything and relied solely on his strength. How could they not be excited? Li Lingtian's body floated in the air as the dragon energy around his body surged like a god of war descending. "All right, yours truly." Xie Tian was furious. He did not expect that his body, a sixth heaven martial emperor expert, would be injured by a martial honors fist. Just as he was about to say something ruthless, a huge fist struck him again before he could finish. This was pure power, and the dragon chi was shocking. The fist carried destructive dragon chi, completely ignoring the corrosion of demonic chi. Boom! 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 In the air, a muffled explosion sounded. Although it was a muffled sound, the destructive force wreaked havoc in the space, causing the space to tremble. Longda watched from the side as he unleashed all of his dragon energy. As long as Li Lingtian was in danger, he would charge forward. Now, he could not join the battle even if he wanted to, because the two figures in the air were as fast as lightning. Their speed of separation and combination was beyond his sight. In the sky, a white light and a black light kept clashing. They kept separating and clashing. Moreover, there was the muffled sound of a fist hitting his body, which made Longda extremely worried. Even if he was from the monster race, a true dragon race, and had a strong physique, he would not dare to imagine the result of fighting against Xie Tian. "Little bastard, you're so f***ing cunning. You actually used ice flame. Are you a f***ing idiot? We are in a battle of life and death. Do you think we should follow the rules? I used the ice flame. Come and bite me. I want it, little bastard. Are you a f***ing dog? You really bit me. Is there any breeding for wild dogs?" Boom! Boom! Bang! Bang! In the air, on the war god, everyone was stunned. Was this a big battle? Why was he cursing? In an instant, the worries of all the powerhouses eased up. It was obvious that the young master had used the icy frost flame to trick Xie Tian. As long as Li Lingtian did not suffer any losses, Xie Tian would be happy. It did not matter if it was the icy frost flame or his fist. The winner would be king. A preconceived notion was formed in their minds. As long as Li Lingtian did not suffer any losses, he was right. Those who opposed Li Lingtian were now on the enemy's side. Enemies must be eliminated. Huangfu Yuyan and the others were also extremely worried. However, when they heard that there were actually curses in the middle of the battle, they could not help but laugh. Naturally, they understood Li Lingtian's strength. It would be strange if Xie Tian did not suffer a loss when he used the icy frost flame on his fist. A sixth heaven martial emperor realm expert actually started cursing. He was really a rare talent. Judging from Li Lingtian's voice, Xie Tian must have bitten Li Lingtian. Rumble. With a shocking explosion, the space trembled again, and the two figures separated. Poochie. Two sounds of blood spurting out could be heard. Li Lingtian clutched his chest. His face was extremely pale and there were traces of blood at the corner of his mouth. He glared at the other party with a sharp gaze. There was also a trace of blood on his arm. It seemed like he had really been bitten. Opposite him, Xie Tian's face was also pale. There was black blood at the corner of his mouth. There were no visible injuries on his body, but he was not in good spirits. It appeared that his injuries were not light either. Moreover, there was a faint flame burning on his arms. The flame was imbued with extreme frost. This was Li Lingtian's frost blaze. When he stopped, he kept using his demonic chi to wipe out the icy frost flame, but the demonic chi could not get rid of the icy frost flame. Die! Li Lingtian tossed a pill into his mouth and his depleted vital essence was instantly restored to its peak condition. He circulated all the vital essence in his body and suppressed the dragon energy. With a move of his divine sense, he used the Heaven Extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber again. Desolate 10 consecutive strikes. With a casual wave of his hand, the saber light slashed out with supreme saber intent. 10 saber lights overlapped, and the space was divided into 2 halves. Blood Demon Blade, Blue Moon Move. Xie Tian was shocked. He had tried the Desolation 10 consecutive strikes at the beginning. If he had used his full strength, he would definitely have been able to block it. However, he had blocked 8 blade rays at the beginning, and the last 2 had injured him. Now, he no longer had the slightest confidence in the 10 saber rays. His eyes revealed a resolute expression, as if he had made a major decision. The demonic chi in his body circulated and reversed the demonic chi. The demonic chi formed a long saber, a blood-red long saber. With a wave of his long saber, a crescent-shaped saber light welcomed it. A deathly silence descended between heaven and earth. 2 destructive saber lights tore through the space like 2 shooting stars. Boom! Before the saber beams collided, the space had already trembled and shattered. Xie Tian used the Blood Demon Blade, and his cultivation base dropped continuously. His demonic chi also became weaker, but his eyes were filled with hatred. Kacha! Kacha! The 10 saber rays landed on the Blood Demon Blade, causing it to tremble slightly. Voila! The sound of splashing water could be heard in the air. The Desolation 10 consecutive strikes was nullified and the Blood Demon Blade's blade radiance slashed toward Li Lingtian. The speed of the saber's radiance was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it had arrived before Li Lingtian. Heaven and Earth Creation Cauldron. Li Lingtian's heart skipped a beat. He did not expect his Desolation 10 consecutive strikes to be broken just like that. He did not expect other treasures to be able to withstand the Blood Demon Blade. He activated the Heaven and Earth Creation Cauldron with his consciousness. A beam of light appeared and covered the Blood Demon Blade. Silk. A soft sound was heard. The Heaven and Earth Creation Cauldron, which had been tested and tested many times, actually did not have the slightest effect in front of the Blood Demon Blade. Seeing that Li Lingtian was in danger, Longda moved in a flash to block Li Lingtian's attack. However, it was too late as he was too far away. The experts on the War God were all stunned. Tang Qingyue and the others were stunned as well. They could only watch helplessly as Li Lingtian was about to be killed by the Blood Demon Blade. They were dumbfounded by the attack. Lingtian. Husband. Big brother. Young master. The girls cried out in shock. Their voices were filled with sorrow and despair. They could not imagine what would happen to them if Li Lingtian were to fall. Saint Demon Quintessence. At that moment, Li Lingtian noticed the holy demon ring on his left hand. Without any hesitation, the vital essence in his body vanished and a stream of pure demonic chi appeared. Instantly, his entire person became demonic. His white clothes fluttered in the wind, and his elegant figure had an additional trace of demonic aura. He casually waved his hand and sent a stream of pure demonic chi towards the Blood Demon Blade. Tisk! With a soft sound, the Blood Demon Blade's saber light was neutralized like the melting sunflower's spring snow. The pure demonic chi directly assimilated the Blood Demon Blade's saber light. In the distance, Xie Tian was petrified. Saint Demon Quintessence. True Devil Chi. How is this possible? How is this possible? When he woke up, Xie Tian looked as if he had seen a ghost. What kind of existence was this young man in front of him? Was he a human, a true dragon, or a demon? He was a human, but he possessed the true dragon chi, which was no different from the dragon clan. However, he was now using the holy book of the demon clan. Only the holy demonic chi cultivated from the demonic canon could break the blood demonic blade so easily. More importantly, the Saint Demon scripture was a cultivation technique cultivated by the supreme great demon god of the demon race. How could it fall into the hands of this young man? Could this young man be the heir of his demon race or a prince of the imperial family? Nothing is impossible. You have eyes but are blind. How dare you have bad intentions towards this? Young master. Die. Li Lingtian was excited when he saw how useful the Asmodean's true devil chi was. This was the so-called bittern tofu. He had used so many methods, but he still could not defeat the other party. He had almost been killed by the other party's blood demon blade. He had not expected that a strand of demonic chi would be so easily resolved. He had actually used demonic chi and was mistaken by the other party as a demon. He could use this identity to suppress the other party and wipe him out. After saying that, he used a trace of true devil QJ from the holy demon ring. Even a trace of pure true devil chi could destroy all low-level devil chi. With a flick of his divine sense, a 3-foot-long scepter appeared in his hand. The scepter had an ancient aura, but it contained the supreme dignity of the demon race. Heavenly Wand. He extended his scepter, and the world instantly turned dark, as if the end of the world had arrived. Li Lingtian floated in the air like a demon god. His demonic aura surged into the sky and engulfed the entire world. With the Heaven's Wand in his hands, Li Lingtian had become a true demon tribe, a mighty figure even though he was a human. This was because the authority of the Heaven's Wand was the symbol of the demon tribe. Heavenly Wand. The Heavenly Wand has appeared. Great demonic god's Heavenly Wand. Xia Tian could no longer sit still. His face was filled with a dazed expression. He did not have any intention of resisting the destructive demonic aura in front of him. The Heavenly Devil Wand was the symbol of the supreme devil race. It possessed the power to destroy the heavens and earth. All the devils below the great demonic god would tremble in front of the Heavenly Devil Wand. Not to mention a mere martial monarch realm expert, even a martial monarch realm expert of the demon race would tremble in front of the heavenly staff. There was another problem. Li Lingtian's identity had shocked Xia Tian, causing him to lose his composure. Chapter 415, Chapter 415, Healing, 1. Chapter 415, Healing, 1. Boom! A shocking beam of demonic chi struck Xia Tian's body. With a loud explosion, Xia Tian was turned into ashes. From the beginning to the end, he had no intention of putting up any resistance. Everyone on the war god was stunned. They did not expect Li Lingtian to be in control of the infernal race's treasure. They were all shocked. Huangfu Yuyan and the rest knew that Li Lingtian had the holy demon ring in his hands. Even so, they did not expect the heavenly staff to be so powerful. The 6th Heaven Martial Emperor realm demons were also killed in one strike. They did not even have the slightest intention of resisting. After a long time, the world quieted down. The endless devil chi was absorbed by the Heaven's Wand. Li Lingtian retracted his true devil chi and his aura returned to normal. Li Lingtian spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was drained of color. He was extremely weak, like an ordinary person who had just recovered from a serious illness. Her body fell down weakly. Long Da's body flashed and caught Li Lingtian before she swiftly returned to the war god. Arriving at the top 3 floors, Li Lingtian managed to cast a magic art with great effort. Qing Ling cooperated with him to activate the restriction and carried Li Lingtian inside. Big brother, how are you? Lingtian, how are you now? Husband, how are your injuries? May or take him back to recover from his injuries. He was injured and had to use a few powerful moves. After that, he used his true devil chi and consumed too much energy. He needs to recuperate for a period of time. The girls were worried. Huangfu Yuyan took a look at Li Lingtian and knew that he had sustained serious injuries in the battle. Coupled with the forceful exertion of demonic chi, his body was a burden. Naturally, she knew that Li Lingtian and Shan Mei were dual cultivators, so healing needed to be quick and convenient. Sister Yuyan, I'll leave the outside to you guys. I'll take my husband to treat his injuries. Shan Mei spoke in a sweet voice. She naturally understood that her sisters were not shy at all after knowing that she was cultivating with Li Lingtian. Instead, they were worried about Li Lingtian's injuries. With that said, she carried Li Lingtian in her arms and quickly made her way to her room. Although they were all young girls, they were also martial artists, martial kings, martial grandmasters, and even martial emperors. Hugging Li Lingtian was nothing. Now that Li Lingtian was injured, Huang Fuyuyan and Tang Qingyue had to make arrangements for the outside world. In the end, they ordered the war god to continue flying so that the array master could repair the war god's defense array as soon as possible. The war god left quickly, heading towards the sea in an instant. Your Highness, your subordinate's mission is complete. After the war god left, a faint voice rang out from the place where the battle had originally been. The voice was extremely ethereal, but it slowly dissipated in the end. If the people on the war god heard this voice, they would definitely know who it was. Who else could this voice be but Xie Tian? Shun Mei carried Li Lingtian back to her room and placed him in the practice room. Their room was like a palace. There was everything in the training room. There were 7 or 8 small rooms, and they were all dressed up like boudoirs. Husband, Mei will help you heal your injuries. Shun Mei removed Li Lingtian's outer garment and sat down cross-legged. Wait a minute. I'll stabilize it with my martial soul of 5 elements. Perfection. Li Lingtian spoke softly as he weakly unleashed his 5 elements martial soul to stabilize his dantian. In the end, Shun Mei circulated her Jin Yuan and the 2 of them healed. After dual cultivation, although their cultivations couldn't be used together, their Jin Yuan could be used together. Shun Mei poured her own quintessential essence into Li Lingtian's meridians. After an hour, Li Lingtian's quintessential essence was slowly circulating. The 2 of them used a full 3 days to finally stabilize their injuries. In the past, Li Lingtian could have used dragon energy to temper his body to heal himself. However, this time, the injury was not limited to his physique and meridians but the conflict between his true essence, dragon energy, and demonic energy. Although he cultivated the heaven and earth reincarnation technique and could fuse all the attributes in the world, he had forcefully used the true devil chi. Moreover, it was the strongest devil chi of the devil race. Naturally, there would be conflicts. More importantly, when he used the demonic aura, he suppressed his true essence. He did not use the heaven and earth reincarnation art to mobilize the demonic aura at all. Instead, he directly used the demonic aura in the holy demon ring to attack his opponent. He did not know why he could use it at will, but this time, his consciousness did not resist the demonic chi. He could use the dragon chi to temper his body, but now that the devil chi, dragon chi, and true essence were in conflict, he still had to spend some time to recuperate. Mei my injuries have already stabilized. Go out and tell them not to worry. I will be able to recover after recuperating for a period of time. During this period of time, you will accompany me to recuperate. Li Lingtian opened his eyes and spoke gently. He did not care if he could become a demon or a god when dealing with his enemies. He would always be gentle to his women. No matter if they were gods or demons, he would always be the protector of his women. All right. Shun Mei was extremely happy, and she bounced out of the room. She wanted to be by her husband's side every day, but she was not the only girl by Li Lingtian's side. Naturally, she was overjoyed to have such an opportunity. After Shun Mei left, Li Lingtian fell into deep thought. He had used his true dragon chi, Jin Yuan, countless skills, and even his trump cards several times, but he had not been able to kill Xie Tian. He had not expected that he would be able to kill Xie Tian so easily with his demon chi. This was beyond his imagination. In the past, when he faced young Master Ming Xiao and young Master Nanling, he was powerless. Even if he really killed young Master Nanling this time, he had to spend a lot of effort to get rid of him. Gradually, he also thought that this world was not a place where the strongest could sweep the world. It was a place where one had to find the right trick. The 5 elements of the world were also mutually reinforcing and restraining each other. In his previous life, there were acupuncture techniques on television and in books. No matter how powerful a person was, there would always be a dead acupuncture point. There was also the Tai Chi technique of 4 tails pulling 1,000 pounds. Although these things were incomparable in this world, they all used the same principle, which was that things would reverse when they reached an extreme, and one thing countered another. No matter how powerful he was, it was impossible to use dragon chi to destroy demonic chi unless his cultivation was higher than his opponent's. However, his cultivation was higher than his opponent's, so he still crushed him directly. The key was that if one wanted to defeat more with fewer people and the weak against the strong, one had to rely on wisdom. Gradually, his mood relaxed, and he no longer had the slightest resistance to the demonic chi. No matter what kind of cultivation technique it was good to use it on the right path. If he used the righteous path's cultivation technique to slaughter the common people, it was also evil. Whether it was cultivation techniques, skills, or weapons, they all varied from person to person. There was no fixed definition. Moreover, in this world, the strong were respected. The ultimate goal of cultivation techniques and skills was to defeat and kill the enemy. After a long time, Li Lingtian began to recuperate from his injuries and slowly restored his true essence. He then used the heaven and earth reincarnation to repair his meridians and suppress the devil chi. Although he did not have any resistance to the devil chi, he would not cultivate the Saint Devil's quintessence for now. As the days passed, Li Lingtian's injuries had completely recovered. Just like before, he had broken through and then rebuilt. Every time he was injured, his cultivation would increase a lot. Although he did not break through this time, he had reached the peak of the 3rd level of the Supreme Realm. Furthermore, all his skills had reached the transcendent state. This improvement made Li Lingtian extremely happy. During this period of time, Shun Mei had enjoyed the happiness of a woman. She was extremely happy every day. When Li Lingtian was cultivating, she would cultivate with him. During their dual cultivation, her cultivation base improved and she enjoyed an unprecedented happiness. Half a month later, Li Lingtian walked out with a radiant aura and a faint smile on his face. "Big brother, your injuries are completely healed. I'm so happy." Ji watched as Li Lingtian walked out. He circled around Li Lingtian twice and sized him up carefully. He was only relieved when he saw that Li Lingtian was not injured at all. This made the other girls laugh. Ji was pretty and cute, and they all liked this little sister. "You little girl, you're not serious at all." Li Lingtian lovingly tapped Ji's round nose and gently stroked her face before he walked toward Huangfu Yuyan and the others. "Lingtian, sit here." Tang Qingyue stepped forward and held Li Lingtian's arm as she led him into the garden. A few girls immediately brought stools over and sat around Li Lingtian. They sized him up and were only relieved after they were sure that Li Lingtian's injuries had fully recovered. "I didn't expect to be killed by the demons of Yuzhou this time. It seems that the Green Continent isn't so peaceful after all." Li Lingtian said that the girls would only let him go after he had recovered from his injuries. Finally, they thought of the Asmodeans' ambush some time ago and linked it to Green Island. Although he had eliminated the House of Storms and attracted the experts of Yuzhou Province, he had offended the experts of Yuzhou Province before. If he went back this time, perhaps the demons would come looking for him. His cultivation was still not enough. He had to raise it. Otherwise, he would not have the slightest confidence when he encountered a powerful opponent. In the past, he had thought that he could kill enemies of a higher realm. However, when he saw Xie Tian suppressing Long Da's attack, he knew that he was not the only one in this world who could kill enemies of a higher realm. The powerhouses of the devil race were all extremely powerful. If a 6th Heaven Martial Emperor came and he was heavily injured, wouldn't he be killed if a 7th Heaven Martial Emperor came? Li Lingtian's thirst for strength reached an unprecedented level at the thought of this. "That's hard to say. The last time you were killed by the god's fury light, all the experts in the Green Continent knew about it. I believe the devil race won't go to the Green Continent to find you." Huangfu Yuyan and the others knew everything about Li Lingtian, so they could naturally analyze the situation. "That's not right." Li Lingtian fell into deep thought when he heard Huangfu Yuyan's words. A moment later, he suddenly spoke with a grave expression on his face. Chapter 416, Green Island Crisis. Chapter 416, Green Island Crisis. What's wrong? Upon hearing Li Lingtian's sudden question, the girls were taken aback. They did not know what was wrong with Li Lingtian's words. All eyes were on Li Lingtian with a questioning look in their eyes. When I left Green Continent, although the war had ended, I still couldn't understand why Tianjin Empire, Northern Nether Empire, and even Southern Mountain Empire had joined forces to deal with Tianlong. In terms of resources, Sky Dragon Empire doesn't have any resources at all. Why would the three empires join forces to wipe out Sky Dragon Empire? Moreover, they have Yuzhou backing them up. I couldn't figure it out, but now I understand. Yuzhou wants Sky Dragon City, and Sky Dragon City should have something that the experts of Yuzhou want. Li Lingtian said earnestly. This time in the Azure Continent, the House of Storms had gone to great lengths to obtain the Queen's Palace's Dragon Soul Jade. The Azure Continent's Heavenly Dragon was allied by the three empires and had the support of the experts of Yuzhou Province. It must be for a certain item in the Sky Dragon Empire. Otherwise, even if the resources of the Sky Dragon Empire were given to Yuzhou Province, the experts of Yuzhou Province would not come to live there. That's right, we've overlooked this point. Yu Prefecture has been plotting against you to seize the Heavenly Dragon, and you didn't want the other major powers to know about it. It must be for something. Huang Fuyuyan nodded in agreement with Li Lingtian. Tang Qingyue looked worried. She had been away from Green Island for a few years, and she didn't know what Green Island had become. She didn't know if her parents and sister were in danger. Don't worry. We'll go back this time. Uncle and Auntie will be fine. Li Lingtian consoled Tang Qingyue when he saw the change in her expression. He gently pulled Tang Qingyue into his arms. The girls knew about his relationship with Tang Qingyue, so they would not laugh at her. Tang Qingyue snuggled into Li Lingtian's arms and the worry on her face eased a little. She was not worried that her sisters would laugh at her. Following that, Li Lingtian played with the girls and cultivated at night. He did not neglect his cultivation at all. Every night, he would either spend time with Tang Qingyue, Huang Fuyuyan, Shen Mei, and Qingling. On the War God, Ge was the happiest. As long as Li Lingtian was safe, she was the happiest because Li Lingtian could protect her. With Li Lingtian around, no one would dare to bully her. In her heart, Li Lingtian was her guardian angel and she relied on him for everything. While Li Lingtian was recuperating, the Wargod's defense array was repaired. However, Li Lingtian still added hundreds of arrays on it. These arrays were specially designed to defend against Devil Chi attacks. The array masters and the powerhouses on the War God were all aware that Li Lingtian had mastered the Devil's cultivation method and were beginning to worry. However, he did not take it to heart later on. In this world, no matter what cultivation technique it was, as long as one cultivated it to the point of becoming powerful, they would be the king. Many humans cultivated the Demon Clan's cultivation method as well as the Infernal Clan's cultivation method. It was normal for Li Lingtian to cultivate the Infernal Clan's cultivation method as long as he was strong enough. As he controlled the cannon and the supreme treasure of the Devil race, he naturally knew how to defend against the Devil Chi. The more than 100 new defensive formations were specially designed to resist the attacks of the Devil Chi. Furthermore, there was a mysterious array formation that was specifically used to collect Devil Chi. This was also a precaution for Li Lingtian. If he were to encounter a Devil powerhouse, he could use the Devil Chi he collected when he executed the Saint Devil's quintessence to maximize his strength. While cultivating and resting, the War God flew at high speed. In the depths of the sea, there was not a single expert. There were only powerful sea beasts. There was not even a single bird. They all understood that this sea region was boundless, and no expert would dare to come here. It would take a whole year to cross the Ao Shao Sea area, and this was for experts above the Martial Monarch realm. If a Martial Monarch realm expert flew in the air, it would take a year to fly continuously. If it was a martial ancestor powerhouse, they would not dare to take the risk to cross the sea. Only a few martial honors and martial emperor powerhouses dared to cross the sea. However, these martial emperor powerhouses also used flying ships to avoid encountering any danger in the sea. If that happened, they would not even be able to find a place to rest. The war god was 200 miles in size. Even a 6th or 7th rank sea beast would avoid it if they saw it. Along the way, the war god didn't suffer any attacks. For 4 months, the war god spent its time in the endless sea. Finally, on this day, the war god arrived on an island. As the war god stabilized itself in the air, Li Lingtian landed with Huang Fuyuyan and the rest to rest on the island for a few days. After all, the surface of the war god wasn't as good as the ground. It was only when one was on solid ground that one would feel safe. We should be arriving at Green Island soon. Let's rest for a few days and then enter the inland of Green Island. Li Lingtian looked up at the sky and saw a martial emperor or grandmaster hunting demonic beasts and sea beasts from time to time. If a martial emperor or grandmaster could kill a demonic beast, it meant that they were close to the inner land. This subordinate will first send someone into Green Island to inquire about the situation there. After Yi Feng followed them down, he respectfully agreed to Li Lingtian's arrangement. He then returned to the war god and auctioned off more than 10 martial emperors and 2 supreme realm powerhouses. Such a combination was nothing in the Azure continent, but in the Azure continent, no one dared to provoke them. After all, there were no martial honors in the Azure continent. Even that hermit powerhouse was only at the 2nd level of the supreme realm. Following that, Li Lingtian and the rest rested on the island. With their cultivation base, no one dared to disturb them on the island. Furthermore, the war god in the sky was a huge killing machine. If anyone dared to approach it, they would be wiped out immediately. 5 days later, there were only 3 experts left. 1 martial honor, 2 martial emperors, and the rest were all killed. Young master, the Green Continent is in chaos. On the island, the 3 experts who had returned were all heavily injured. Moreover, they were emitting a faint demonic aura. It was obvious that they had been injured by the demonic aura. Wu Tianyun was the only Supreme Realm expert who had been brought back. It was really unexpected that he was beaten to such a state with his 2nd heaven cultivation. Yi Feng sent them out to gather information. He did not expect such a thing to happen. In Green Continent, the strongest was only at the 2nd level of the Supreme Realm. If 2 Supreme Realm experts and more than 10 martial emperors went to Green Continent, they should be able to sweep through Green Continent. What happened? Li Lingtian looked at Wu Tianyun and asked seriously. As he spoke, he wiped his hand and a frosty ice flame appeared. The frosty ice flame pressed down on Wu Tianyun's wound. Wu Tianyun felt a wave of fear in his heart, but he calmed down. The young master would not punish his subordinates so easily. Naturally, he was not targeting him. Then, he saw the ice flame quickly devour the demonic chi. After the demonic chi was devoured, his injuries could also be stabilized. He only needed to recuperate for a period of time. If there was demonic chi, it would be impossible for him to recuperate. This was the corrosive power of demonic chi. Young master, millions of demons in Yuzhou have already attacked the Green Province. 2 years ago, the 3 empires joined forces to attack Sky Dragon Empire. However, Sky Dragon Empire's Sky Cloud sect had a Sky Cloud battleship, so the 3 empires were unable to wipe out Sky Dragon Empire. However, Yuzhou eliminated the martial emperor powerhouses, destroyed the Heavenly Cloud battleship, and the 3 empires wiped out the Sky Dragon Empire. But for some reason, the 3 empires have fallen out with the Serenity Plains. They didn't let the experts of the Serenity Plains enter the Azure continent, but the Serenity Plains kept sending experts of the demon race in secret. The 3 empires withdrew from Sky Dragon Empire, and the entire Green Continent joined forces to resist the attack of the demon race. However, for some reason, after a month of fighting, Serenity Plains suddenly attacked. There were more than 100 martial emperors and more than 1,000 martial honors. All the demon race attacked Sky Dragon. The four great empires were defeated one after another. The people we sent out to inquire about the news encountered a demon expert. Only the three of us managed to escape. Wu Tianyun shared the information he had obtained from his trip, causing Li Lingtian's expression to turn grave. The Green Continent was weak. One Supreme Realm expert was enough to sweep across the Green Continent. Now that thousands of Supreme Realm experts and hundreds of Martial Monarch Realm experts had been sent, wouldn't the Green Continent be destroyed? How is Sky Dragon Empire now? Li Lingtian grew anxious. With so many powerhouses attacking the Heavenly Dragon, it would be a complete massacre. Who would be able to stop them? He was most concerned about Tang Zimeng and her parents. Although Sky Cloud Sect and Sky Dragon Empire were very important, how could they be more important than the safety of his parents and wife? I don't know. We didn't even manage to enter the Heavenly Dragon Island. As soon as we entered the Azure Continent, we encountered countless demons who slaughtered the Azure Continent's martial artists. They didn't even spare ordinary people. We only got the news after we rescued these martial artists. In the end, we encountered a 6th-level Supreme Realm expert. Wu Tianyun recounted everything that had happened in the past few days. He was still trembling when he thought of the hundreds of martial monarch realm experts, thousands of martial honored realm experts, and millions of demons in Azure Continent. Young Master, we'll increase the speed of the War God to its maximum. I believe we'll be back in 2 days. Yi Feng calculated the distance and the Wargod speed before he spoke. However, Li Lingtian immediately rejected his suggestion. No, I'm going first. You guys follow me on the War God. Longda, just follow me. Protect young madam and the others. If they lose a single hair, I'll punish you. If you encounter any demons, use the War God to wipe them out. Don't bother them. Go straight to Sky Dragon Empire. Li Lingtian said earnestly as he made arrangements. Be careful. Huang Fuyuyan did not stop Li Lingtian. Instead, she spoke seriously with a concerned expression. I know. You have the most experience. I'll leave this place to you. Li Lingtian nodded and gently caressed Huang Fuyuyan's face with a look of pity. Lingtian, be careful. Husband, take care. May, will wait for you. Big brother, you are the most powerful, GE's guardian. GE believes that you will definitely sweep away the demons. Young master, don't worry, Qingling will take good care of GE and the others. The girls returned to the War God and shouted as they watched Li Lingtian and Longda's disappearing figures. At that moment, Li Lingtian and Longda had already disappeared from the sky. With Li Lingtian's cultivation base and the power of the thunderclap wings, he was faster than a martial emperor powerhouse's teleportation. Longda also used the dragon tribe's powerful physique to fly through the sky. Chapter 417, Chapter 417, The Mysterious Old Man. Chapter 417, The Mysterious Old Man. Qingzhou had been peaceful for thousands of years. However, a few years ago, the demons secretly invaded the Green Continent. The 3 empires were used by the demons of the Serenity Plains to attack the Sky Dragon Empire. Who would have thought that Sky Dragon Empire would have such a heaven-defying genius? Li Lingtian, a Sky Cloud Sect disciple, rose to prominence and single-handedly challenged a martial grandmaster or martial emperor. He had become Sky Dragon Empire's #1 genius at the age of 17. With his powerful strength and intelligence, he swept across Green Island and was invincible wherever he went. After forcing back the Sky Dragon Empire's powerful enemies and extorting the 3 empires, 10 supreme martial emperors and the demon race's martial-honored powerhouses finally killed Li Lingtian in secret. The final blow triggered the god's wrath and Li Lingtian vanished into thin air. He had thought that the Green Continent would calm down, but he had not expected that the 3 empires would not give up. They had attacked Sky Dragon Empire and destroyed it. The demons had invaded. They had no choice but to withdraw from Sky Dragon Empire. The 4 empires and some Humid experts from Green Continent had to resist the attack of the demons in Serenity Plains. However, the power of Green Continent was too weak. Green Continent, which could be swept away by a martial honor, had thousands of martial honors, martial emperors, and hundreds of martial emperor powerhouses. Green Continent did not have the slightest ability to resist. The invasion of Yojo's experts and the dispatch of such a powerful lineup puzzled the world. The four empires were facing terrifying enemies, and countless humans were being slaughtered. The Sky Dragon Empire was even more so. More than half of the demons were gathered in the Sky Dragon Empire. The Sky Dragon Empire had fallen, and all the experts had come to the Sky Cloud Sect Sky Screen Mountain Range. Currently, the Sky Screen Mountain Range had almost become the gathering place for Sky Dragon Empire's powerhouses. In the Divine Cloud Palace, Grand Elder Ling Mingho's expression was grave. Moreover, all the powerhouses present had injuries on their bodies and looked extremely miserable. Sky Dragon Empire has already fallen. The demons of Yuzhou have invaded. It's impossible for us to escape from Qingzhou, Ling Mingho said seriously. In front of countless martial honors and martial emperors, they could even encounter martial emperor powerhouses at any time. How could some martial ancestors and martial emperors escape Azure Continent? Even if it was here, it would be destroyed in an instant. This year, the Green Continent was in chaos. The Heavenly Dragon was attacked. Now, the country was destroyed, and countless experts had disappeared. Brother Ling is right. We can't escape or fight now. We can only wait for death. Why did the demons of Yuzhou province attack the Green province so wantonly? Is there any treasure in Green province that is worth attacking? Our Green province is a poor place with few resources. Compared to the Yuzhou province, it's a remote place. I think the Yuzhou province wants something important here, but we don't know about it. Countless martial monarchs and martial supremacies have surrounded Sky Cloud Sect. There are still more than 40 martial emperors. Even if we escape, we won't stand a chance. All of a sudden, all the experts were discussing animatedly. Those who could come to the Divine Cloud Palace were all martial arts grandmasters and martial emperors. The martial emperors and martial arts grandmasters here were all the remnants of the entire Sky Dragon Empire. In the face of an unrivaled expert, no matter how many people there were, no matter how much attention they paid, it would be useless. The Yuzhou demons didn't even consider the above conditions and simply slaughtered them. Sky Peak was extremely quiet. In the Sky Pavilion, a beautiful girl was staring at the sky. There was no change in her expression. Her small hand was supporting her chin. This situation had been the same for the past few years. Almost half of the time every day, she saw this kind of scenery. The young girl did not speak. She just looked at the sky as if there was something she liked in the sky. Even during the chaos of the Green Continent and the invasion of the demons, the girl's expression did not change at all, as if this world did not belong to her. "Miss, go back and rest." At this moment, a girl dressed as a maid walked up to him and called out softly. How long has it been?" The beautiful girl was naturally Tang Zimeng. When she spoke, she was also very calm. She was no longer as happy and lively as before. "Miss, it's already been 4 years." Qing Ping said seriously. Her young miss's words had become a habit for the past 4 years. Ever since Li Lingtian was killed by the light of God's wrath and vanished into thin air, the young lady's face had lost its smile. She was no longer the lively young lady she used to be. In the Sky Pavilion, Lu Suifeng and his wife, Tang Zimeng, Qingping, and Xiao Xiao were present. Although a few years had passed, this place was still quiet. It was like a paradise, and no one came to disturb it. The invasion of the demons had already surrounded Sky Cloud Sect, but they did not make a move. This puzzled countless experts. Days passed. On this day, the peaceful Sky Cloud Sect was suddenly filled with monstrous demonic qi. The shocking demonic qi rolled over from the sky as countless demons rushed over. In the sky, there were hundreds of martial honors, thousands of martial emperors and martial grandmasters, and more importantly, there were 17 martial emperor powerhouses. Divine Wind, come out. As long as you open the Demons Sealing God array, the millions of demons in Green Continent will leave Green Continent and return you Green Continent. At this moment, a thunder-like voice exploded. A giant devil floated in the air, and its entire body was filled with shocking demonic chi. Countless experts of Sky Cloud's sect were killed by the demonic chi. Every second, countless martial artists died. In the face of the demonic chi, even martial kings had no chance of resisting. The giant demons were the three most powerful demons among the 47 martial monarch realm experts. They had already reached the 6th heaven of the martial monarch realm. The Serenity Plains had sent out such a powerful demon race just for one thing. Who is the Divine Phoenix? Is the Serenity Plains here for the Divine Wind? What happened? Could it be that this is the only excuse to attack and destroy the Azure Continent? If you want to kill, then kill. Why are you looking for an excuse? Countless experts from the Divine Cloud Palace had already come out. Although they were all martial arts grandmasters and martial emperors, there were still hundreds of them. The hermit experts who were usually invisible were also gathered here. Even if there were so many martial arts grandmasters and martial emperors, the other party only needed one martial honor to wipe out all the experts in a moment. Moreover, the other party had hundreds of Supreme Realm experts and dozens of martial monarch realm experts. Who else could resolve this crisis? Even the forces of the Azure Continent and the Black Continent could not resolve this crisis. Ah, ah, ah. Ah, ah, ah. Rumble. Rumble. Between heaven and earth, a terrifying demonic aura pressed down. Even if they did not make a move, the demonic aura pressure of a martial supreme and martial emperor was enough to kill all the powerhouses of Sky Dragon Empire. Countless martial artists were corroded and killed by the demonic chi. Even martial kings could only circulate their cultivation techniques to resist. If they were not careful, they would be crushed to death by the demonic chi in the sky. The Sky Cloud sect experts were helpless as they watched countless disciples being killed by the demonic chi. Divine Wind, if you don't come out, everyone in Sky Dragon Empire will be destroyed and become puppets. The giant demon Aoli looked at the humans who were dying like ants and revealed an excited smile. He looked at the depths of Sky Cloud sect coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, all the martial emperors and martial supremacies exploded with their might. The shocking demonic chi pressed down again. Instantly, countless martial artists were killed instantly. Martial kings could not resist at all. Even martial grandmasters could only use their cultivation techniques to resist the corrosion of the demonic chi. Aren't you afraid of the divine martial continent's annihilation? A faint old voice rang out. An old man appeared in the air. No one knew how he came, nor did anyone know who this old man was. Countless martial artists and demons looked at the old man in the air, puzzled. Divine Wind. It's him. Two voices shouted out. One was the martial emperor powerhouse of the devil race, and the other was Ling Mingho. Brother Ling, you know him? A fifth-level martial emperor looked at the old man in the sky and asked Ling Mingho. The other warriors looked at Ling Mingho. Who was this old man? Could it be that the demons of Serenity Plains were here for this old man? It was too far-fetched to destroy the Green Continent for an old man without any cultivation base. No, this old man didn't have any cultivation. How could he fly and float in the air? Countless experts were puzzled. I don't know him either. He's just an ordinary old man cleaning the Sky Cloud sect's library. He's in charge of some skills. How can he be a divine wind? Ling Haoming was shocked in his heart. This old man was the old man in the library pavilion. He didn't expect that such an old man was actually the divine wind that the fiend race powerhouse mentioned. How is that possible? Since he's someone from your library pavilion, how can you not know his background? Could it be that you called an unknown person to guard the library pavilion? For a moment, all the experts were in disbelief. Not only did they not believe it, even the experts of Sky Cloud sect would not believe it. He has always been in the library pavilion. When I was still a warrior, he was already there. Even after so many years, he would still be there. Ling Haoming also felt that something was wrong. This old man had been in the library when he was a warrior. He didn't expect that after a few hundred years, he had already become the sect master, even the supreme elder, and now the martial emperor. However, this old man was still the same as before. Not to mention his cultivation strength, just his lifespan was terrifying. All the warriors saw Ling Mingho's confusion and believed that Ling Mingho didn't know anything. They all looked up at the sky and resisted the erosion of the demonic qi. Haha, since when has our Yuzhou province ever been afraid of being killed by other humans? Open the demon god sealing formation and I can spare your life. Ali the giant demon said loudly, but his expression became a little serious. Others might not know, but he knew how terrifying this old man was. So you knew that I was here. No wonder you attacked Green Island with great fanfare. It's impossible for you to expect me to open the demon sealing god array. The old man said indifferently. The old man, who seemed to have no cultivation at all, had an incomparably sharp gaze. Wherever his gaze passed, countless powerful demons could only lower their heads and did not dare to meet his gaze. Countless warriors were shocked by this situation. They didn't know where this old man came from. He actually wanted the Serenity Plains to send so many experts to attack the Green Plains. You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.